Chapter 227. But after drinking another 3 to 4 glasses, Shi Yao suddenly seemed to have gotten drunk. She lost her grip on the glass, and she accidentally spilled half of it. Liang Mumu didn't stop Shi Yao from drinking, thinking that she had accidentally spilled it in a moment of carelessness. She picked up the bottle of wine and refilled Shi Yao's glass. After she was done, she continued introducing Shi Yao to the next friend. In the blink of an eye, Shi Yao had drunk another 2 glasses of wine. Her posture was starting to sway unsteadily, and she would lean toward Liang Mumu from time to time. Finally, after Liang Mumu was done introducing her friends, Shi Yao turned around and staggered toward the washroom. But just a few steps later, when she was about to descend the stairs, she nearly fell to the ground. It was fortunate that there was a waiter standing by the side who helped her up. Upon seeing this sight, Liang Mumu hurriedly ran to Shi Yao's side and supported her. "Yao, are you all right?" As if she hadn't heard Liang Mumu's words at all, Shi Yao continued staggering forward while muttering drunkenly under her breath. "Yao Yao, what are you mumbling about?" Liang Mumu asked a lot of questions before Shi Yao finally raised her head and looked at Liang Mumu with a pair of blurry eyes. She stared at her for a very long time before a silly smile appeared on her face. "Big sis, who are you? You're really pretty." Liang Mumu asked worriedly. "Yao, are you drunk?" Shi Yao giggled like a child for a moment before shaking her head and mumbling, I'm not drunk. I can still drink." As she spoke, Shi Yao casually grabbed a bottle of wine from a passerby's table and poured it into her mouth. Faced with the dissatisfied voices of the passerby, Liang Mumu apologized with an apologetic smile as she took out some money to compensate them. Using this opportunity, Shi Yao managed to extricate herself from Liang Mumu's grasp and make her way over to the next table. "Cheers. We won't leave until we're drunk." Before Shi Yao could finish her words, she had already taken a bottle of wine from the previous table and spilled it all over the table, ruining the food, fruit platters, and wine that had been placed on the table. Amidst the furious roars of the people at this table, Liang Mumu, who had just finished dealing with the previous table, hurriedly ran over and apologized profusely while taking out money to clean up this table. It didn't take long for Liang Mumu's cash to be emptied by the drunken Shi Yao. Fearing that Shi Yao would cause trouble again, Liang Mumu grabbed Shi Yao's arm tightly and pulled her back to her table. She grabbed both her and Shi Yao's bags and bade farewell to her friends before pulling Shi Yao out of the bar. Before leaving the bar, Shi Yao suddenly clutched her chest and retched. Liang Mumu hurriedly called for a waiter to bring a vomit bag over. But halfway through her words, Shi Yao suddenly grabbed a woman beside her and vomited into her arms. "Ah!" Following a shrill scream, the woman yelled angrily, "What are you doing? I spent over 100,000 RMB on this limited edition dress from France. I'll transfer the money to you. I'm sorry, my friend is drunk." Liang Mumu pulled Shi Yao behind her and apologized profusely. Liang Mumu added an additional sum of money to the original price before the woman finally relented. With a look of disgust on her face, she turned around and left. Chapter 228. Leaning against the driver's seat, Liang Mumu panted heavily for a long while before she turned to look at Shi Yao, who had finally calmed down after causing a ruckus in the bar. She stared at Shi Yao for a moment, and a cold glint flashed across the depths of her calm eyes. She didn't want this to happen, but she had no other choice. She couldn't allow Shi Yao to get closer to Lin Jiej. With such thoughts in mind, Liang Mumu pressed her lips together tightly. She stepped on the accelerator and drove the car out of the bar. She didn't send Shi Yao back to her home, school, or her apartment. Instead, she drove the car to the entrance of a 5-star chain hotel in the vicinity of the bar. As soon as the car came to a stop, someone immediately walked up to her and helped her up. Liang Mumu didn't head to the front desk to check into a room. Instead, she walked straight to the elevator, took out a room card from her bag, and swiped the button. After pressing on the floor number, Liang Mumu stared at the dazed Shi Yao through the elevator mirror. It was only when the elevator doors opened that she finally snapped out of her daze. She led the way to the room, swiped the door, and gestured for the attendant to place Shi Yao on the bed. After the attendant left, Liang Mumu finally entered the bedroom of the suite. She stared at the sleeping Shi Yao for a moment before calling out her name. "Yao Yao? Yao Yao?" Seeing that Shi Yao wasn't responding to her, she patted her cheeks lightly and asked, Yao Yao? Yao Yao? Seeing that there was still no response from Shi Yao, Liang Mumu opened Shi Yao's bag and took out her phone. Using Shi Yao's fingerprint, she unlocked the phone, tapped into her contacts, and searched for Han Jing. She stared at Han Jing's name for 3 seconds before dialing the number without any hesitation. The call was immediately hung up. Liang Mumu frowned. Just as she was about to continue dialing, she received a message. It was from Han Jing. What's wrong? Everyone in the dormitory is asleep, so it's not convenient for me to answer your call. Liang Mumu typed. May I know if you're the senior Han that Shi Yao spoke of? Han Jing. Yes. Han Jing sensed that something was wrong and quickly sent another message. Who are you? Liang Mumu. I'm Shi Yao's friend Liang Mumu. We've met before. Do you remember me? Han Jing. Yes. What can I do for you? Liang Mumu. It's like this. Yao Yao is drunk, and her condition isn't very good at the moment. However, I have something to attend to later, so I won't be able to take care of her. You're her classmate and you often hang out with her, so I thought that the two of you might have a good relationship. So, can I trouble you to take care of her instead? Fearing that Han Jing wouldn't agree to it, Liang Mumu added, she's really quite drunk right now, and she's been vomiting non-stop. I'm afraid that she might choke on her own saliva, and something might happen to her life. About 10 seconds later, Han Jing's message came. Alright, can you tell me the address? I'll come over now. Liang Mumu. Sure. No problem. After sending the address, Liang Mumu sent another message. I really have something urgent to attend to, so I'll be leaving right now. You'll have to hurry over. The room number is 1012, and I've left the room card at the front desk. Just come over and say my name and your name, and you'll be able to take the room card away. Han Jing. Okay. Liang Mumu. I'll be troubling you then. Thank you. Han Jing. You're welcome. Liang Mumu didn't respond to his message. Instead, she deleted her chat history with Han Jing from Shi Yao's phone and intentionally left a record of her calls to Han Jing on Shi Yao's phone. After placing her phone by Shi Yao's pillow, she got up and left the hotel room. Chapter 229. Stepping out of the elevator, Liang Mumu first headed to the hotel's ATM and withdrew some cash. After which, she walked over to the front desk and passed the room card to a receptionist on night shift. She left Han Jing's name on the card and deposited some cash on the card. After giving the receptionist a few reminders, she finally left the hotel. It was already late at night, and the night breeze of early summer brought with it a slight chill. Liang Mumu's gaze wandered around the busy streets for a while before she opened the car door and got into her car. Instead of leaving, she turned on the music in the car and lowered the volume before waiting patiently. Roughly 20 minutes later, a taxi stopped at the entrance of the hotel. A man wearing a baseball cap, an orange t-shirt, black pants and white sneakers alighted from the car. Liang Mumu couldn't see the man's face clearly, but she had an impression of his clothes. Out of the few times she had met Han Jing, he had been wearing the same clothes more than half of the time. After paying the taxi fare, the man quickly turned around and ran into the hotel lobby. Through the hotel's glass window, Liang Mumu saw the man standing at the front desk for a moment before he grabbed a room card and headed for the elevator. Just as the man's silhouette disappeared into the elevator, Liang Mumu's phone rang. Picking up the call, she saw that it was from the receptionist whom she had paid earlier. Miss Liang, Mr. Han Jing has arrived. He just took the room card and went upstairs. After hanging up the call, Liang Mumu sat in the car for a while longer before stepping on the accelerator and driving off. After returning home, Liang Mumu parked her car in the garage. Instead of taking the elevator straight up, she took a detour to the courtyard to take a look at the villa next door. The lights in Lin Jiej's bedroom were still dark. Most likely, he hadn't returned home for the weekend. The curtains in Lin Jiej's room were drawn, but one could still vaguely see light through the gaps in the curtains. The lights in the largest master bedroom were still lit, and the curtains weren't drawn either. The lights in the study next door were also lit. Liang Mumu guessed that Lin Jiej's mother, Madame Jiang Wangue, was probably busy with work in the study. Miss Liang, you're back? The sound of Liang Mumu's car returning woke the butler up. Liang Mumu quickly retracted her gaze from the villa next door and rushed into the house. Where are big aunt and uncle? Sir hasn't returned home yet. Madam is already asleep, the housekeeper replied. What about cousin? Liang Mumu's parents were divorced, and she had been placed under Liang Juxi's care ever since she was young. Young master hasn't returned yet, I see. Liang Mumu didn't say anything else. She continued heading up the stairs, but after climbing 5 or 6 steps she suddenly paused. Remember to wake me up at 5 tomorrow morning. The butler was perplexed as to why Liang Mumu, who had been sleeping until noon, would wake up so early, but he still agreed to it. After returning to her bedroom, Liang Mumu took a bath and went to sleep. Although she had instructed the housekeeper to wake her up at 5 o'clock, she hadn't been able to sleep all night because she was worried about something. As soon as her alarm rang, she immediately got out of bed to wash up and put on her makeup. 2 hours later, she was dressed neatly with her handbag in hand. She pressed on Lin Jiej's doorbell. The one who opened the door was a servant who had worked in the Lin family for several years. Recognizing Liang Mumu, he eagerly led her into the house. Before entering the room, Liang Mumu knew that Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai had already woken up. Chapter 230. A second after Liang Mumu entered the room, Zhang Wangui, who had just finished his morning jog, had just finished bathing and changed into a set of home clothes. Liang Mumu, who was just about to change her shoes, immediately straightened her back and greeted obediently, "Good morning, Auntie Lin." Zhang Wangui revealed a faint smile and nodded. "Morning." After that, she looked at the servant on the side. "Is breakfast ready?" The servant, "Yes, madam." Zhang Wangui nodded before instructing a servant to call Lin Jai down for dinner. After which, he turned to Liang Mumu and asked, "Do you want to eat together?" "Thank you, Auntie Lin." Liang Mumu hurriedly shook her head. Then, using the same polite tone as before, she said, "Auntie Lin, the reason why I'm here is to bring you somewhere." A curious look appeared in Zhang Wangui's eyes, but he maintained a composed expression and didn't reveal much of his inner emotions. "Where is it?" This, reminiscent of an innocent child, Liang Mumu tilted her head to the side and revealed a mysterious smile. "I can't tell you, Auntie Lin. This is a surprise prepared by Yao Yao, and I'm just following her instructions to invite you over." Zhang Wangui lowered his head to look at the time and wondered if he would miss the meeting with the client at 10 in the morning. He then nodded and said, "All right, wait here for a while. I will go upstairs to change my clothes." Halfway up the stairs, Zhang Wangui bumped into Lin Jai, who had been forced by her mother to come down for breakfast. Zhang Wangui glanced at his daughter and said, "Yao Yao asked Mumu to bring me somewhere. Do you want to come along?" "My Yao?" Lin Jai immediately snapped out of her daze. Of course. I haven't seen my Yao for more than 10 days now, and I miss her so much." After saying those words, Lin Jai swiftly turned around, and in less than 3 seconds she had already overtaken her mother, who was walking in front of her, and entered the bedroom to change her clothes. The three of them rode in Zhang Wangui's car, which was driven by Zhang Wangui's driver. It was a weekend morning, so the roads weren't too bad. It didn't take them long to arrive at Shi Yao's hotel. Liang Mumu hugged Zhang Wangui's arm coquettishly as she praised how Zhang Wangui had become younger once again. At the same time, she said that she wanted to be as capable as Zhang Wangui when she grew up. After that, they took the elevator all the way to Shi Yao's hotel floor. Liang Mumu walked up to the entrance of Shi Yao's hotel and pressed the doorbell. Roughly half a minute later, Shi Yao's voice sounded from within. "Who is it?" "It's me," Liang Mumu replied. Very soon the door opened and a disheveled Shi Yao dressed in a bathrobe, reeking of alcohol, appeared before Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai. "Huh? Yao Yao? Why haven't you cleaned yourself up yet?" Liang Mumu asked in astonishment upon seeing the state Shi Yao was in. She stared blankly at Liang Mumu for a moment before turning to look at Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai standing behind her. Then she asked in bewilderment, "Auntie Lin, sis Jai you too?" Chapter 231. Shi Yao frowned slightly, as if she couldn't understand what Liang Mumu was saying, and her lips moved once more. But this time, before she could even make a sound, Liang Mumu had already pushed her into the hotel room. Yao Yao, hurry up and open the door. Let Auntie Lin and Sis Jai in. What are you doing standing in the corridor? After entering the room, Liang Mumu pinched her nose and spoke once more. Ayao, how much wine did you drink last night? You're going to choke me to death. Hurry up and take a shower, or else the smell of alcohol will spread to Auntie Lin and Sis Jai. It'll affect their work later on. Lin Jai, who hadn't spoken a single word since she appeared, quickly spoke up. That won't happen. It's fine. No matter how Yao Yao smells, she'll always be adorable in my eyes. Liang Mumu's eyes turned cold, but it only lasted for an instant before she reverted back to her usual lively smile. On the other hand, Shi Yao finally found an opportunity to speak. Auntie Lin, Sis Jai, and Mumu, please take a seat first. I'll be right back after I take a shower. Lin Jai's eyes curled up into crescents as she replied with a warm before saying, hurry up and go. Remember to raise the temperature of the water a little, lest you catch a cold. Shi Yao replied with a smile. Right after she turned around, Liang Mumu pointed to the living room filled with balloons and ribbons and said, Auntie Lin, take a look. Yao Yao prepared all of these for you. She spent a lot of time on them yesterday. And this is a gift that Yao Yao prepared for you. I'll have Yao Yao give it to you after she's done bathing. Passing through the bedroom door, Shi Yao heard those words and lowered her eyelids slightly. Then she closed the door and entered the bathroom. By the time Shi Yao was done bathing and walked out of the bedroom, the living room of the hotel suite was still bustling with activity. Liang Mumu's laughter couldn't stop, and the words that came out of her mouth were as sweet as honey. Lin Jai was the first to notice Shi Yao. With a radiant smile, she patted the seat beside her and said, Yao Yao, come over and take a seat. A second after Shi Yao walked over and sat down, she rubbed her empty stomach and asked, have you had breakfast yet? Zhang Wang, not yet. Lin Jai, ow, are you hungry? Liang Mumu, who was still in the midst of praising Zhang Wangui, was suddenly interrupted by Shi Yao's sudden interjection. For a moment, she didn't know how she should continue the conversation. Shi Yao, why don't we call the restaurant and have them send some food over? Zhang Wangui replied, all right. Lin Jai, sure. I'll make a call now. Yao Yao, what do you want to eat? Liang Mumu, who was responsible for all of the expenses in the hotel, opened her mouth but no words came out. Shi Yao replied to Lin Jai's question. What kind of food do you have? Lin Jai, breakfast is in the style of Old Beijing, so you can find all the things that you would find in Old Beijing here. Shi Yao tilted her head and pondered for a moment before replying, I'll have the steamed bun, stir-fried liver, fried dough sticks, and tofu pudding then. After Lin Jai was done with Shi Yao's request, she turned to Zhang Wangui and asked, Mom, what about you? What do you want? While Zhang Wangui was ordering dishes, Lin Jai also ordered her own dishes. Just as Lin Jai was about to hang up the call, she suddenly remembered that she had forgotten about Liang Mumu, so she quickly asked, where's Mumu? Chapter 232. Reminded by Zhang Wan immediately said, oh, I almost forgot. Just order 4 glasses of milk. You should drink a glass of milk for breakfast to supplement your nutrition. Shi Yao, I want to drink yogurt, Zhang Wangui said, then give Yao Yao a cup of yogurt in addition to the milk. Lin Jai did as instructed. Liang Mumu. Soon the waiter brought the breakfast over. Ever since Zhang Wangui passed the age of 40, he had been very strict with his diet. As such, he only ate a third of the food he ordered before putting down his chopsticks. Lin Jai wasn't as picky as Shi Yao, but she couldn't eat as much as Shi Yao. So by the time Lin Jai was done eating, there was still half of Shi Yao's food left. Seeing that Shi Yao hadn't finished her breakfast yet, Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai weren't in a hurry. One of them was reading the morning paper while the other was looking at her phone. On the other hand, Liang Mumu, who had only ordered a glass of milk, was growing more and more anxious. Just as Lin Jai was thinking about how she could expose the sleeping Han Jing in the bedroom, she suddenly yawned and stood up. I'll head to the washroom for a moment. There were 2 washrooms in the suite. One was at the entrance of the hotel room, and the other was in the bedroom. Liang Mumu was still fretting over what she should do, but as soon as Lin Jai entered the washroom at the entrance of the hotel, she quickly clutched her stomach and stood up as well. My stomach hurts a little too, so I need to head to the washroom too. After saying those words, Liang Mumu ran straight into the bedroom. However, Shi Yao didn't react to Luo Ruoxin's actions at all. Instead, she continued munching on the meat bun that was even whiter and larger than her face. Not long after, the sound of the toilet flushing came from the bathroom in the bedroom. Not too long later, Liang Mumu's scream sounded from the bedroom. What's wrong? Zhang Wangui furrowed his brows and raised his head from the newspaper. As Shi Yao's mouth was stuffed full of buns, it wasn't convenient for her to speak. Thus, she could only shake her head blankly. How could this be? Liang Mumu's voice sounded from the bedroom. Zhang Wangui furrowed her brows even more. She put down the newspaper and walked toward the bedroom. What happened? Lin Jai, who had just come out from the washroom, asked doubtfully before following Zhang Wangui into the bedroom. Shi Yao gulped down the tofu pudding in one gulp before grabbing her unfinished bun and heading to her bedroom. She walked to the door and saw 3 people staring at something on the ground. She immediately stopped and followed their line of sight. It was a pair of men's sneakers. These shoes clearly don't belong to Brother Jia. His shoes can't be that dirty. Tian here too, there's someone sleeping here. Liang Mumu spoke up once more as she pointed to the bulge in the bedding. A man's shoes and there's someone on the bed. Isn't it Lin Jia's shoes? The atmosphere in the room instantly became somewhat stagnant. Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai didn't say a word. But their complexions didn't look too good. How could this be? It was as if Liang Mumu had seen something she couldn't believe. As she muttered to herself, she took out her phone and said, Yao, the time you sent me was 7 p.m., but I read it as 7 a.m. No wonder you said that you wanted to eat breakfast. Well, you were trying to conceal the scene in the room, right? Chapter 233. As Liang Mumu spoke, tears welled up in her eyes. I really didn't know that such a thing would happen. You don't seem like such a person. I really didn't think that things would turn out this way. If I hadn't remembered the time wrongly and we came here ahead of time, would we have known about what Yao Yao had done for a very long time? My gosh, this is really too scary. Liang Mumu seemed to be at a loss for words. She turned to Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai in bewilderment, as if she had just suffered a heavy blow. Auntie Lin, Sis Jai, what should we do? Zhang Wangui was a woman who had weathered through many trials and tribulations. Even though such a thing had happened, she still maintained her composure. Without any hesitation, she turned to Lin Jai and said, Jai, go and pull the blanket away. No. Shi Yao, who was standing at the door, swallowed the bun in her mouth and exclaimed in shock. Seeing Shi Yao's reaction, Liang Mumu, who had witnessed Han Jing entering the hotel with her own eyes, was even more certain that her plan had succeeded. Thus, her words became even more forceful. I think I know who the person inside is. Yao, is it that senior Han of yours? I've always thought that the two of you had a close relationship, but who could have thought that it would actually be true? What I hate the most is wasting my breath like this. Zhang Wangui seemed to have lost his patience as he walked toward the bed in his high heels. But barely after she took a few steps, Lin Jai pulled her back and said, Mom, I believe that Yao Yao isn't that kind of person. There are some things that might not necessarily be the truth. There must be some kind of misunderstanding. Sis Jai, I know that you like Yao Yao, but you should know your limits when it comes to liking someone. Even after such a thing has happened, are you still unwilling to face reality? Liang Mumu chimed in as she walked over to the bed. That's right. Just as Liang Mumu was about to pull the blanket away, Shi Yao stuffed the last bite of the bun into her mouth and rushed over to press down on the blanket. Due to the food in her mouth, it was difficult for her to speak, but she was looking at Liang Mumu with a gaze filled with don't want. Without any hesitation, Liang Mumu bellowed indignantly, Yao, you finally know fear at a time like this? Didn't you think about the consequences when you were doing this? You're clearly Brother Jia's fiancé. The reason why she hadn't fallen out with her all this while was because she didn't have a chance. What she wanted was a sure hit. Now that such a great opportunity was right in front of her, how could she let it go? With this thought in mind, Liang Mumu increased the strength she exerted to lift the blanket. Shi Yao continued munching on her buns as she pressed down on her blanket. Eventually, as if she couldn't withstand Liang Mumu's strength, the latter yanked the blanket away. The person who was only wearing a pair of underwear on the bed was instantly revealed to everyone. It was a living person with short hair and facial features that looked like a boy's. However, this boy was different from ordinary boys because he had a chest. Although it was pitifully small, like a slightly bulging poached egg, it was enough to reflect his gender. As the quilt was lifted, the sleeping boy on the bed was finally woken up. Seeing the 4 people around her staring at her, she screamed and then pulled the bedsheet to protect her poached egg. Chapter 234. Who are you? What are you doing? When she spoke, her voice was also slightly neutral. As she shouted, she turned to Shi Yao and asked, what's going on? It's fine, it's fine. Shi Yao consoled her before hurriedly tossing her clothes onto the bed. After which, she raised her head and looked at Liang Mumu, who was clutching her blanket tightly as she stared intently at the poached egg on the bed. Shi Yao stared quietly at Liang Mumu for a moment before her lips moved. Her voice was very soft, no different from her usual sleepy self. I was eating earlier so I didn't get a chance to speak. The person sleeping inside is my roommate. She's a girl and she's naked. As the words left her mouth, Shi Yao could clearly see Liang Mumu blinking her eyes furiously. After confirming that the person before her was really a woman, the look of disbelief on her face slowly turned into one of confusion. When Liang Mumu's gaze met Shi Yao's, a cold glint flashed across Shi Yao's usually gentle eyes. But in the next instant, a smile crept up her lips, and with a pair of bright eyes, she turned to Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai and said, Auntie Lin, Sis Jai. This is my roommate from university. Her name is Zhang Yu. After which, she turned to Zhang Yu and said, Yeah, this is Auntie Lin and Sis Jai. Zhang Yu quickly nodded and greeted, Hello Auntie Lin. Hello Sis Jai. Zhang Wangui replied with a polite smile, Hello. Compared to her mother, Lin Jai's smile was much more radiant. Yao Yao's roommate, it's nice to meet you. Remember to come over to our house with Yao Yao when you're free. Hearing Lin Jai's words, Zhang Yu's smile widened. Thank you, big sis. Seeing that Zhang Yu, Zhang Wangui, and Lin Jai were done with their greetings, Shi Yao said, Yeah, you sure are a good sleeper. We've been in the bedroom for so long, but you still haven't woken up. Zhang Yu scratched her head as if she was embarrassed. She smiled apologetically and said, Well, I've always been like a dead pig when I sleep. Amused by Zhang Yu's analogy, Lin Jai burst into laughter. Even Zhang Wangui, who had always been strict, couldn't help but smile. Who would describe themselves like that? Shi Yao glanced at Zhang Yu with a smile before continuing. Why don't we head to the living room to rest for a while so that Ye can wake up? Right. Lin Jai nodded as she grabbed Zhang Wangui's arm and walked out of the bedroom. In the instant that the duo disappeared through the door, Shi Yao finally turned her gaze back to Liang Mumu. She didn't say anything at all. Instead, she calmly responded to Liang Mumu's ever-changing gaze for a moment before saying, Let's go, let's head out. Then she led the way out of the bedroom. It was only after Shi Yao sat down beside Lin Jai that Liang Mumu slowly walked out of the bedroom. The atmosphere in the living room instantly froze because of her appearance. In the business world, Zhang Wangui was a formidable figure who didn't pale in comparison to any man. As soon as Liang Mumu lifted the blanket and saw that the person on the bed was a woman, she could already roughly guess what was going on. Even though Lin Jai wasn't as experienced as her mother, she was still someone who had seen the world. In her eyes, Liang Mumu's tricks were no different from child's play, as if they were child's play. Chapter 235. Liang Mumu stood at the entrance of the bedroom for a long while before she slowly walked over to Zhang Wangui. Biting down on her lower lip, as if a child who had done something wrong, she spoke up softly, Auntie Lin, I'm sorry. I made a mistake earlier. Before Liang Mumu could finish her words, Lin Jai had already interjected with a sharp and direct tone. The person you should apologize to isn't my mother but Yao. Hearing Lin Jai's words, Zhang Wangui didn't say anything at all. Liang Mumu was rendered speechless by Lin Jai's words for a very long time before she moved her lips once more. Unwilling to give up, she tried to defend herself. No, I admit that I misunderstood Yao earlier. As a good friend, I shouldn't have doubted her like that. However, that pair of male shoes is really misleading. A good friend? Are you certain? Lin Jai's lips curled up into a smile as she interrupted Liang Mumu once more. Shouldn't you have doubted Yao Yao? Or do you intend to? Or rather, even if there aren't male shoes, isn't there still a male jacket, a male shirt, a male tie and a male pants? Hearing Lin Jai's unhurried words, Liang Mumu was rendered speechless. Lin Jai turned to look at Shi Yao, and compared to her previous emotionless tone, her voice was much more gentle this time. Now tell me what's going on, from why you're staying in this hotel or why you were drinking yesterday, or more importantly, did you invite me and my mother over? Jai, didn't I tell you that one shouldn't waste one's time on such pointless matters? Zhang Wanggui, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke up with a calm and composed voice. In my opinion, there's only one thing I need to say to resolve this matter. As she spoke, Zhang Wanggui turned to Shi Yao and asked, tell me the layout of this room and the exquisite present on the table. Do you think that I don't need to accept it anymore? Auntie Lin's words really hit the nail on the head. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao's gaze drifted over to Liang Mumu. She could clearly see Liang Mumu's hands grabbing tightly onto her clothes. She knew that she was afraid of what she was going to say next. But some things had developed to this point, and she had no other choice. It wasn't that she didn't give her a chance. She was the one who brought their relationship to this point step by step. From today onward, the two of them would probably be mortal enemies. Shi Yao was silent for 2 seconds before she retracted her gaze to look at Zhang Wanggui. She nodded lightly and replied without any hesitation, yes. It was a simple word, but it told everyone that she wasn't the one who had decorated the room, and the presents on the table weren't prepared by her. Liang Mumu was lying. Shi Yao lowered her gaze and took a deep breath. Then she took out her phone, tapped open the photo album, and pushed it toward Zhang Wanggui. These are the photos I took last night. Mumu invited me to a bar, so I casually took a few of them. I don't have any ulterior motives other than posting them on my Moments page. I didn't think that I'd be able to use them here. Chapter 236. I know what happened in between. A second after Shi Yao said those words, Zhang Yu, who had just finished washing up, walked out of the bedroom. Miss Liang took Yao Yao's phone and gave Han Jing a call. She told him that Yao Yao was drunk and asked if he could come over to take care of her. However, Han Jing felt that it wouldn't be appropriate for him to come over in the middle of the night, so he sent me a message. As Zhang Yu spoke, she took out her phone and placed it on the table. On the screen was the content of the message between Shi Yao and Han Jing. Zhang Yu didn't rush to speak. Instead, she waited for a moment to make sure that Zhang Wanggui had finished reading the message before continuing. Han Jing is a gentleman, so he told me about it. If he wasn't a gentleman, he would have come straight over. Yao Yao just drank a little bit of wine, and for some inexplicable reason she got drunk. Zhang Yu purposely emphasized the words a little bit, and inexplicable reason before continuing. Then wouldn't Yao Yao's innocence be ruined if a man and a woman were to share a room together? Hearing the main point, Lin Jai immediately turned a sharp gaze toward Liang Mumu and asked, how could Yao Yao get so drunk after drinking a little bit of wine? Did you tamper with the wine? The confident Liang Mumu didn't expect things to develop in such a manner. She shook her head in a daze and said, no, I didn't. I didn't tamper with Yao Yao's wine. So, you admit that you took Yao Yao to drink with you last night? Yao Yao didn't lie, but you have been lying all along? Zhang Wanggui interjected again. His words were as sharp as ever, and he went straight to the point. Liang Mumu didn't think that she would actually expose herself. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Zhang Wanggui seemed to think that there was no need to waste any more time here, so she grabbed her bag and stood up. All right, I have a client to meet at 10, so I'll be leaving first. Lin Jai also stood up, but she didn't forget to bring Shi Yao along with her. Let's go. I'll send you and your classmates back to school. When Zhang Wanggui passed by Liang Mumu, the latter suddenly spoke up pitifully. Auntie Lin. Zhang Wanggui halted her footsteps. She lowered her gaze to look at the tips of her heels before turning to Liang Mumu and saying, I admit that you're smart, but you didn't put your intelligence to good use. That's why your intelligence has turned into stupidity. Putting aside the fact that your little trick today didn't work, even if you did, Yao Yao's reputation would be ruined and she would no longer be Jiej's fiancée. Do you think that you'll have a chance to get close to Jiej? If that's what you think, Then let me tell you clearly that you're wrong. Not only are you wrong, you're gravely wrong. Have you ever heard of the saying, do not wash one's dirty linen in public? Now that something like this has happened, it is our Lin family that has been humiliated. Do you think I will allow someone who knows about our Lin family's dirty linen to continue staying in Beijing? No, I won't. Not only will I make Yao Yao leave Beijing, I will also drive you out of Beijing. I will never allow you to appear again. After parting ways with Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai, Zhang Yu immediately asked Yao Yao, is that Lin Jie's mother? She's really a domineering female CEO. The words she said to Liang Mumu before she left were really cool. Shi Yao didn't respond to Zhang Yu's words. Zhang Yu continued praising Zhang Wangui and Lin Jai. Chapter 237. Just as Zhang Yu was at her wit's end, she finally recalled the matter at hand. Yao, how did you know that Liang Mumu would frame you yesterday? You even gave me a call in advance and told me to pretend to be Han Jing if I received a message from her that she was using your phone to look for Han Jing. You even told He Tian to borrow a set of Han Jing's clothes, so that I could wear it to look for you. Sure, Yao, I guessed it. Ah. Zhang Yu was taken aback. She reached out to touch Shi Yao's forehead and asked, you don't have a fever. Why are you spouting nonsense? I'm serious. Shi Yao shot a glance at Zhang Yu. It's really just a guess. I'm just informing you in advance just in case. Zhang Yu. So, you already knew that Liang Mumu was plotting against you before last night? Shi Yao replied with a soft, Zhang Yu, alright then. I can understand that you saw through Liang Mumu's disguise. But how did you know how Liang Mumu would deal with you? Shi Yao. No matter what, I've known her for quite a few years now, so I do have some understanding of her. Also, she mentioned Han Jing in front of Grandpa Lin. Zhang Yu shook her head. I still don't get it. Left with no choice, Shi Yao explained, think about it. If you want to ruin a person's reputation, especially when it's a woman you're engaged to, what's the most direct way to do it? Is it to catch her in the act? Zhang Yu nodded. Shi Yao continued, that's why Liang Mumu would definitely start from there. But no one is a fool. Even if the other party is willing to catch her in the act, isn't that so? What if she's unwilling? She'll have to either get her drunk or drug her. As for the adulterer, she'll have to choose Han Jing. You should understand this, right? Zhang Yu pondered for a moment before shaking her head. I don't really understand. Shi Yao rolled her eyes speechlessly. Think about it. She hinted to Grandpa Lin that there's something going on between me and Han Jing. Oh. Zhang Yu nodded in realization. Speaking of which, Liang Mumu sure is sinister. In order to frame you, she has been setting you up since a long time ago? That's right. Shi Yao paused for a moment before adding. It's been a long time. It was so long that it was the night she kissed Lin Jie at Golden Resplendence because of a game. It was so long that it was the night she bumped into Lin Jie in the elevator of SKP Mall after deciding to cancel her engagement with Lin Jie. It was so long that it was the first time she passed a candy to her and introduced herself. I'm Liang Mumu. What about you? What's it called? Some things from the beginning were fake. So from the day they met, they were destined to separate. Yao Yao? Oblivious to Shi Yao's reaction, Zhang Yu asked once more. There's still something I don't understand. Why didn't you call Han Jing directly, and have him inform me when he receives Liang Mumu's message? Why did you change Han Jing's number to mine? Are you serious? Seeing Zhang Yu nod in agreement, Shi Yao explained with a helpless look on her face. Are you dumb? Putting aside the fact that I've already severed my ties with Senior Han, even if we were still friends, I wouldn't ask him for help. It's simply too dangerous. What if he comes by himself without telling you? Chapter 238. Zhang Yu nodded vehemently. You're right, that makes sense. So you weren't drunk at all last night? Shi Yao shot Zhang Yu. Are you kidding me? Look. How could I possibly be drunk? I remember telling you that the bowl-smashing wine and was so much that the people around me changed several times. So everything that happened in the bar last night was just an act by her. No, to be more precise, Liang Mumu was putting on an act last night, so Shi Yao decided to put on an act together with her. One's life depended on acting, and there was no one in the world who wasn't an actress. But in the end, just as they were about to reach the dormitory building, Shi Yao still chose to part ways with Jiang Yu. Lin Jiej was busy with his project last night, and he only went to sleep at 5 in the morning. Barely a few hours later, he was awoken by the sound of a message. Grumpily, he picked up his phone and glanced at the screen. It was a WeChat message from Lin Jai. But he tossed his phone aside and went back to sleep without even looking at it. Just as he closed his eyes, a series of notifications sounded from his phone once more. Lin Jiej picked up his phone and was about to switch it off when he saw the word "Ah" on the screen. A slight frown appeared on his forehead, and his drowsiness instantly cleared up. Yawning, he tapped into WeChat. Lin Jai. There's something that I'm sure will interest you. Do you want to know? Lin Jai. You're ignoring me? Or you don't want to know? Lin Jai. Are you sure you don't want to know? Lin Jai. Are you sure? Lin Jai. Alright, forget it. It's related to Yao Yao anyway. Lin Jai. It's really related to Yao Yao. Lin Jai. Sure Yao. Lin Jiej looked through the long string of messages that Lin Jai had sent him, and he impatiently tapped on the screen and replied. Question mark. Lin Jai instantly replied with a symbol. Yen. Are you trying to scam me out of my money? Lin Jiej. 88 Lin Jai. 88 isn't enough. I want at least 888. Who's bargaining with you? He's saying goodbye to me. Lin Jiej put down his phone and ignored Lin Jai. Lin Jai. I'll give you a discount then. 788. Lin Jai. 688? Lin Jai. I really can't go any lower. I'm telling you right now, I won't tell you even a single cent less. Lin Jai. Then 588? Lin Jai. Lin Jiej, I'm telling you right now, I won't be lowering the price any further. I'm a man of integrity. 488 quick deal. F***ck, not even 488 yuan? Do you want to know or not? Haha, serves you right that your wife was almost slept with by someone, serves you right that you almost wore a green hat, serves you right that you have a grassland on your head, serves you right, serves you right. Almost slept with someone? Green hat? Verdant grassland? Lin Jiej abruptly shot up from his bed and asked, What do you mean? Seeing that Lin Jai wasn't replying to him, he quickly transferred the money to her. Lin Jai swiftly accepted the money and sent a message over. Liang Mumu asked out last night. Seeing that Lin Jai didn't say anything else after sending that message, Lin Jiej sent another message. And then, Lin Jai. 488. I'm done with one sentence. You'll have to transfer more money to me before I can continue. Lin Jiej gritted his teeth furiously, but he still transferred the money to her. Yao Yao was drunk. She was sent to the hotel. Chapter 239. Yao Yao was drunk under the table. She was sent to the hotel. Can this even count as 2 sentences? Lin Jiej, who had already spun 488 twice, couldn't take it anymore and typed. Can you please finish your sentence in 1 sentence? There was no response from the other party. Lin Jiej spun 488 once more. After accepting the message, Lin Jai replied with an okay gesture before falling silent once more. Okay, hurry up and say the next sentence. It was only a short 30 seconds, but Lin Jiej, who was desperate to know what had happened to Shi Yao, felt that time was passing extremely slowly. Seeing that Lin Jai still hadn't replied, he couldn't help but rush her. In order to express how anxious he was, he sent a series of question marks. Lin Jai replied almost instantaneously. Thinking that she was finally done with her story, Lin Jiej quickly lowered his head to take a look, only to see the same number of S as his. What the heck is this? To avoid wasting time, Lin Jiej swiftly typed out a message. I just transferred the money to you and you accepted it. You still owe me a sentence now. Fearing that Lin Jai would go back on her words, Lin Jiej took a screenshot and circled the transfer and receipt records in red before sending it over to Lin Jai. Lin Jai swiftly replied, I've already replied to you, so please continue to send me the money. Following which, Lin Jai also sent a screenshot to Lin Jiej. On the screenshot, there was also a line circled in red. It was the okay she had sent after the receipt of the money. Okay counts as well? Who the heck are you from? Do you only have money in your eyes? Just as Lin Jiej was berating Lin Jiej furiously, another message popped up on his screen. It was another screenshot, and Lin Jiej circled the yin and I've already replied to you, so please continue to send me the money. Do you see that? I'm giving these 2 sentences to you for free. I didn't charge you any money, including this sentence, the previous screenshot, and the one before that. Do a good job of calculating how much money I've taken from you? A cold sneer appeared on Lin Jiej's lips. Thank you, your entire family. Lin Jiej. You're welcome. Lin Jiej. This and the previous sentence are free for you as well. Lin Jiej couldn't even be bothered to respond to Lin Jiej with a he. Instead, he spun to 488 twice. Lin Jiej didn't hesitate to send him 2 messages in a row. Liang Mumu took Yao Yao's phone and sent a message to Han Jing. Early the next morning, Liang Mumu invited me and my mother to the hotel to catch them in the act. The heck, did Lin Jiej learn how to write novels? The card's ability to attract cards was so amazing. Worried about Soft Bun's condition, Lin Jiej continued transferring money, and just like before, he made 2 consecutive transfers. Lin Jiej. When we rang the doorbell, Yao Yao had just woken up, and she was only wearing a bathrobe. Liang Mumu said that it's Mother's Day today, so Yao Yao specially prepared a surprise for her mother. After which, Liang Mumu urged Shi Yao to quickly wash up. And after Shi Yao came out, we had breakfast together. Then, when I went to the toilet, Liang Mumu said that she wanted to use the toilet too. So Liang Mumu went to the toilet in Yao Yao's hotel room. And that's when Liang Mumu started screaming. Chapter 240. After receiving the money, Lin Jiej replied. Then Mom and I went to the bedroom. Yao Yao, who hadn't finished her breakfast yet, was the last to follow us. We saw a shocking sight. A pair of men's shoes on the floor. Men's shoes? Lin Jiej couldn't help but tighten his grip on his phone. The shoes were very dirty. Liang Mumu said that they couldn't be yours, so she claimed that they belonged to Han Jing. You know Mom very well. She's the epitome of a strong woman. She said that she wanted to lift up the bedsheets to take a look. Yao Yao said no, so I stopped Mom, but no one stopped Liang Mumu. After that, Liang Mumu took the bedsheets away. Damn it. It always ends at the most classic place. Lin Jiej transferred 5 sums of money this time around. Lin Jiej accepted all of them. Then we saw a girl who looked like a man but had a poached egg on her chest. A girl. Lin Jiej heaved a sigh of relief. After that, Liang Mumu's scheme failed. Han Jing is a gentleman, so he didn't come and got Yao Yao's roommate instead. Do you know how scared I was back then? I believed that Yao Yao wasn't that kind of person, but I was afraid that she would be framed. It's fortunate that Yao Yao is a lucky girl. It was a close shave. Turned the crisis into safety, so she didn't want to give him a refund after explaining the matter, so she decided to use 2 idioms to swallow the money he had transferred to her? Lin Jiej chuckled softly before putting down his phone and heading to the bathroom to wash up. But halfway through his shower, he suddenly recalled Lin Jiej's words about a girl with a poached egg on her chest. Does that mean that the girl was sleeping naked? And on the same bed as Soft Bun at that? What do you mean by I was almost cuckolded? I've already been cuckolded, alright? I've never slept naked with Soft Bun before, but someone else beat me to it. The more Lin Jiej thought about it, the more stifled he felt. But when he came out of the bathroom, the first thing he did was search for Shi Yao's phone number and give her a call. Shi Yao had said that Liang Mumu was her good friend. Back then, he had wanted to warn her about Liang Mumu, but he didn't have the heart to say it out of fear that she would be upset if she learned of her good friend's true colors. Now that her good friend had done such a thing to her, she must be feeling awful, right? The phone rang for a long time, but no one answered. Lin Jiej tried calling Shi Yao 2 more times, but there was still no answer. The worry in his heart grew heavier and heavier. He sent a message to Shi Yao, but seeing that there was no reply, he switched on his laptop and hacked into the school's network. He took Shi Yao's dormitory room's landline and dialed a number. It was a female student who picked up the call. Upon hearing that he was looking for Shi Yao, she calmly replied with a Shi Yao isn't around before hanging up. She wasn't in the dormitory. She had classes tomorrow, so she shouldn't have gone home. So was she alone outside now? Could it be that she's hiding somewhere, feeling sad or crying in secret? As this thought flashed across Lin Jiej's mind, The image of Shi Yao's tearful face surfaced in his mind, and he felt as if something was gripping his heart tightly, causing him to suffocate in pain. Without any hesitation, he grabbed his wallet and phone and left the dormitory room. Lin Jiej borrowed an electric scooter from the dormitory room next door and searched around the vicinity of the school. The midday sun was very hot, and his clothes were wet layer by layer. He called her a few more times but no one answered. Chapter 241. Time slowly trickled by, and just as the sun was setting in the west and the entire city was dyed crimson, Lin Jiej, who was still unable to contact Shi Yao, stopped his car by the roadside and gave Lin Jiej a call. The phone rang once before it was hung up. Then the phone vibrated in his palm, and a message appeared on the screen. Lin Jiej, I'm accompanying Mom to meet a client. Lin Jiej pondered for a few seconds before typing. Do you have any close friends? Even though Lin Jiej couldn't be considered as a girl, she should still be able to understand the thoughts of a girl better than him. Lin Jiej instantly replied, yes. A second later, Lin Jiej replied, my very very good friend is Money. Lin Jiej moment later. Lin Jiej typed a few times on the keyboard and asked, can you give me a breathing creature? Alright then. Lin Jiej. I'll take the panda then. It's a national treasure. And it looks like it's worth more than money. He shouldn't have come looking for her. Lin Jiej restriction. Only one person. Lin Jiej. Why don't you just ask the person I'm closest to? A creature that can still breathe? Who taught you Chinese? Lin Jiej suddenly felt an urge to put away his phone. Lin Jiej. The person I'm closest to is naturally little cutie Yao. Soft bun? Lin Jiej didn't want to use soft bun as an example, so he asked, is there anything else? Lin Jiej. Of course, there's only one of them. If there were two of them, would they still be considered as close friends? If it was you, could it be that there were two people you love the most in your heart? You can be a two-timing playboy, but I can't. I'm single-minded and focused. Alright, he accepted the first part, but what the hell was with the second part? Dedicated. Is this the word I should use for soft bun? Lin Jiej was extremely displeased, but he still went straight to the point. Fine. If Yao Yao betrays you, what will you do? It took quite a while before Lin Jiej's message finally came in. The other party is typing a message. Lin Jiej looked at it expectantly, and he soon saw a sentence. Yao Yao will never betray me. Lin Jiej. Hypothetically. Lin Jiej. There's no such hypothesis. Lin Jiej. I trust Yao Yao's character. Lin Jiej. Do you not trust Yao Yao's character? Lin Jiej. That has nothing to do with whether I believe it or not. Like I said, it's hypothetical. Do you know what hypothetical means? Hypothetically refers to what if, a baseless imagination. Lin Jiej. The other party refuses to participate in your hypothesis. Lin Jiej gritted his teeth. Then why did you ask me to play the role of the Empress and marry you when we were young? Wasn't that just a hypothetical game? Lin Jiej. Are you the same as Yao Yao? You can assume whatever you want. Yao Yao can't mean can't. Lin Jiej brought out his trump card. Name a price. How much are you willing to pay for this hypothesis? Lin Jiej. It doesn't matter how much you pay. F*ck, you're unmoved by force or persuasion. Lin Jiej exited WeChat and continued calling Shi Yao. He called 3 times but no one picked up. Chapter 242. Lunatic. Who in the world would want to set her up? She has a face that people are willing to put in so much effort to set her up. Lin Jiej continued calling Shi Yao, but before he could make the call, another message from Lin Jiej appeared on the screen. You sure are treacherous. Treacherous to the point that it sends shivers down my spine. I'll leave you to the cold then. Ignoring Lin Jiej's message, Lin Jiej dialed Shi Yao's number. The phone rang for a long time but no one picked up. Just as Lin Jiej thought that Shi Yao wouldn't pick up his call, Shi Yao's voice suddenly sounded from the other end. Hello? Before the call connected, Lin Jiej had many things he wanted to ask Shi Yao. Are you alright? Are you feeling particularly sad? But when she picked up the call, he found himself at a loss for words. Then Shi Yao's voice sounded once more. Lin Jiej. Lin Jiej blinked his eyes in confusion before asking, "Why haven't you picked up the call?" "Sure, Yao. I've switched my phone to silent mode so I haven't been looking at it. I just took a glance at it earlier." "Who?" Lin Jiej heaved a sigh of relief. "So that's the case, that..." Noticing that Lin Jiej wasn't saying anything, Sure Yao spoke up once more. "Is there something you need from me? Why did you call me so many times?" For a moment Lin Jiej didn't know what to say. Sure Yao's tone sounded normal. If he were to say that his sister had told her about Liang Mumu, would that expose her sadness? Lin Jiej fell into deep thought for a very long time. When he heard Sure Yao calling out Lin Jiej through the phone once more, he abruptly blurted out, "Don't you still owe me a meal?" After saying those words, Lin Jiej really wanted to bite his tongue off. What a pig's brain. Can't you find a better excuse? On the other end of the call, Sure Yao swiftly replied, "Oh, I didn't forget about it. You're calling me to ask for that meal back, right? Since I don't have anything on tonight, I'll treat you to a meal." Lin Jiej really didn't want to admit it, so he could only force himself to say, "All right then. Sure Yao, I'll choose a place then. Shall we meet there? Why don't you tell me where you are? I'll pick you up." Lin Jiej glanced at the electric scooter that he had borrowed, and after some thought, he realized that it could still be considered a car. Thus he said, "I have a car." "I see. All right then," Sure Yao replied. After which she replied, "I'm at the entrance of KFC." There were hundreds of KFC in Beijing. How could he find her in front of a KFC? Lin Jiej. Other than KFC, are there any other landmarks? Let me take a look. A second later, Sure Yao replied, "And McDonald's. It's as good as not saying anything at all." Lin Jiej was rendered speechless. Seeing that Lin Jiej wasn't saying anything, Sure Yao added, "Other than McDonald's, there's also a Häagen-Dazs next to it, and right next to Häagen-Dazs is a little Dien. Their milk tea is really delicious, and it's almost dinner time, but there's still a long queue, lady. Are your so-called landmarks all food?" Chapter 243. Your soft bun, so you have the final say. Lin Jiej replied, "Sure." Lin Jiej paused for a moment before adding, "Take a picture of the road and send it to me." Sure Yao. "Sure, no problem." After hanging up the call, 30 seconds later, Sure Yao sent over the picture she had taken. Lin Jiej tapped on Open University, and a row of restaurants came into view. Is food always the only thing a glutton can see? If I were to stick snacks all over my body, would soft bun stare at me unblinkingly? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej zoomed in on the picture and finally he saw a landmark building. Only then did he figure out where Sure Yao was. To get to Sure Yao's place, he would have to pass by the school. Lin Jiej pondered for a moment before calling his chauffeur to have him wait for him at the entrance of the school. It was a weekend, so Sure Yao's location wasn't too bad. It wasn't a gathering spot, so the traffic was smooth. Roughly 20 minutes later, Lin Jiej arrived at the Edian restaurant that Sure Yao had mentioned. Before he could even park his car, he had already caught sight of Sure Yao's silhouette through the car window. She was still queuing up, and there was only one person in front of her. Lin Jiej parked his car by the roadside, grabbed his phone, got out and walked over to Sure Yao. As soon as he arrived by her side, he heard her sweet voice to the cashier, 2 large cups of milk green tea with a milk cap. The cashier swiftly placed the order for Sure Yao. That'll be a total of 40 renminbi. All right, Sure Yao replied as she lowered her head to take out her wallet. However, before she could reach her wallet, Lin Jiej had already fished out a 100 renminbi bill from his pocket and passed it to the cashier. Take mine. Sure Yao was taken aback. She turned to look at Lin Jiej and said, We agreed that I'll treat you to milk tea. It's fine. Lin Jiej replied. He took the change and the bill from the cashier before heading to the counter by the side. Sure Yao followed behind Lin Jiej. As it was only 40 renminbi, Sure Yao didn't haggle over it with Lin Jiej. Nevertheless, she still thanked him. Lin Jiej didn't say a word, but his gaze kept darting to Sure Yao's face. Throughout the entire process, he was discreetly assessing her expression. She looked no different from usual. Her face, which rarely wore makeup, was white and clean, and her eyes were as clear as ever. However, if one were to look closely, one would be able to see that she was still in low spirits. Was he still affected by Liang Mumu? It seemed to be normal. The truth was always easy to say but difficult to do. It was said that they parted on good terms, that they shouldn't force it if they couldn't get it, and that they should cut the Gordian knot after betrayal. But when it came to realizing this truth, who wouldn't feel sad and sad? Some people in the end still needed time to calm down. After a while the milk tea was ready. Lin Jie grabbed the milk tea and got into the car with Shi Yao. After Shi Yao fastened her seatbelt, Lin Jie took out a cup of milk tea and inserted a straw into it before passing it over to her. "What would you like to eat?" Shi Yao took the milk tea and thanked him before asking, "What do you want to eat?" Lin Jie, "I'm fine with anything." Lin Jie paused for a moment before adding, "You're the one treating, so you have the final say." Chapter 244. Lin Jie didn't have much of a tolerance for spicy food, so he nodded without any hesitation and replied, "Sure." Shi Yao passed the phone over to Lin Jie and said, "Let's head to Shu Garden then. This is the address." Born and raised in Beijing, Lin Jie had a rough idea of where the restaurant was with just a glance. He blinked his eyes to indicate that he understood the address before starting the car. Along the way, Lin Jie seemed to be focused on driving with his eyes focused on the road ahead, but in truth, his mind was spinning non-stop. Even though he had found an excuse to say that she owed him a meal, he didn't really intend to make her treat him. But what could he do to make her pay the bill without making a single sound? Just as they were about to reach the restaurant, Lin Jie glanced at Shi Yao's bag through the rearview mirror. If he were to hide her bag, she wouldn't be able to pay the bill. But her bag was too big, so it wouldn't be easy to hide it, right? Besides, she was definitely going to look for her bag when she got out of the car. So, this idea was definitely not going to work. Lin Jie raised his hand to cover his lips before turning his attention to Shi Yao's purse. Given how big her bag was, she would definitely be paying attention to it at all times. But the same couldn't be said for her purse. Lin Jie thought for a moment before driving to the outermost side of the road. After finding the nearest exit, he drove off the main road and turned into an alley. The alley was filled with cars and bicycles, making it extremely difficult to drive on. After driving for a distance, the road ahead became too narrow for his car to pass, so Lin Jie had no choice but to reverse and drive out of the alley. After reversing for a certain distance, he began circling around the same road, as if he couldn't get out of there. One moment he was driving forward and the next moment he was driving backward. After repeating this process several times, as if he was at his wit's end, he turned to Shi Yao with an apologetic look and asked, "Can I trouble you to keep an eye on the road for me?" Sure. Shi Yao didn't think that there was anything wrong with it at all, so she nodded and got out of the car. Lin Jie rolled down the car window. He could have easily reversed out of the alley, but he kept asking, "Can I go on the right? Can I go on the left? Is it okay for me to do this?" Under Shi Yao's assistance and guidance, Lin Jie successfully retreated to the entrance of the alleyway. After which he said, "Move back a little further. I'm afraid that I might accidentally bump into you." When he saw that Shi Yao had really followed his instructions and retreated roughly 10 meters away, he swiftly reached his hand into Shi Yao's bag, which was on the passenger seat. The first thing he touched was a packet of jelly beans. The second time was Shi Yao's phone. The third time he touched an apple. Apple. Doesn't she think it's too heavy? Embarrassed, Lin Jie tossed the apple back into his bag and continued searching. Eventually he felt something soft, but he couldn't tell what it was. Out of curiosity, he took it out to take a closer look. Despite its colorful appearance, he was still able to recognize it. It was a sanitary pad that only women would use. Lin Jie's ears reddened a little as he reversed the car with one hand while reaching into his bag with the other. After feeling around for a few energy bars, he finally found a very small wallet. Did she intentionally make such a small wallet so as to conserve space in her bag? With such a thought in mind, Lin Jie unhesitatingly tossed Shi Yao's wallet under the passenger seat. Chapter 245. With this thought in mind, Lin Jie unhesitatingly tossed Shi Yao's wallet under the passenger seat. After making sure that the wallet was well hidden, he reversed the car to Shi Yao's side and unlocked the door. Shi Yao got into the car, and Lin Jiej calmly drove to the entrance of the restaurant. After parking the car, Lin Jiej waited for Shi Yao to get out with her bag before unbuckling his seatbelt and alighting as well. After entering the restaurant, a waiter led the two of them to an empty table. Lin Jiej caught sight of two QR codes pasted on the wall of the restaurant, one for Alipay and the other for WeChat. Does this place support Alipay and WeChat? So it's useless even if I hide my wallet? I'm even going to hide my phone along with it? Damn, I have nothing to do. Why is society developing so fast? Lin Jiej calmly pulled out a chair and sat down. At the same time, he raised his head to look at Shi Yao's phone. As the two of them were sitting face to face, Lin Jiej could clearly see that the battery on the top right corner of Shi Yao's phone had turned red. This is a sign that she's running out of battery. Lin Jiej lowered his gaze as he contemplated for a moment. Then, he turned to the waiter standing by the side and asked calmly, "Can I order now?" The waiter passed the menu over with a smile. Yes. Lin Jiej took the menu and pushed it toward Shi Yao. "I'm not a picky eater, so you can order." Without much hesitation, Shi Yao began ordering the dishes. From time to time, she would ask Lin Jiej, "Can I?" Lin Jiej nodded calmly. Halfway through Shi Yao's order, he took out his phone, tapped into WeChat, found Xiaoshangzhou, and sent a question mark. Then he placed his phone back on the table and continued watching Shi Yao order. Roughly a minute later, Lin Jiej's phone rang. It was Xiaoshangzhou replying to his WeChat. "Boss, what's the matter?" Instead of replying to Xiaoshangzhou's message, he dialed the number and pointed to his phone, indicating that he wanted to take a call. It didn't take long for the call to go through. Ignoring what Xiaoshangzhou was saying on the other end of the line, Lin Jiej replied, "Hello, Mr. Xia." 3 seconds of silence followed before Xiaoshangzhou's trembling voice sounded, "Boss, did you call the wrong number?" Ignoring Xiaoshangzhou's words, Lin Jiej asked, "Mr. Xia, are you free now?" Xiaoshangzhou's voice trembled. "Boss, I'm fine with anything you want me to do, as long as you don't call me Boss Xia." Lin Jiej, "That's good. I just saw your WeChat message saying that you have some suggestions you'd like to raise with me." "No, I don't have anything against you. Absolutely not. Boss, you are my sky, my earth, and my air. How would I dare to have any opinions about you?" Lin Jiej, "I don't think it's convenient to communicate through words, so if you don't mind, let's talk over the phone instead. It'll be easier for us to understand each other that way, so why don't you voice your opinion now?" Xiaoshangzhou said, "Dad, I was wrong. I shouldn't have secretly taken 2 bottles of my dong and sold them to the people next door at a low price. Then I used the money to buy duck necks." Lin Jiej, "It's fine. If I have any opinions, I'll voice them out. Feel free to speak." Chapter 246. Lin Jiej, "Mr. Xia, what are you talking about? Why would I be angry?" Xiaoshangzhou, "Daddy, I beg of you to stop talking. I'll confess everything. I didn't have any socks to wear this afternoon, so I took a pair from your drawer. I'll buy you a new pair later. No, I'll buy 10 pairs. Also, when I was washing my hands yesterday, I accidentally used the wrong towel. I know that you're a germaphobe, so I'll buy you a new towel too. There shouldn't be anything else." Lin Jiej, "Mr. Xia." Xiaoshangzhou, No, let me think. Also, I didn't have any tissues to use that day, so I took a packet of tissues from your drawer. I really don't have any left this time. I guarantee that I really don't have any." Before Xiaoshangzhou could finish his words, Lin Jiej had already pressed the off button on his phone, forcefully shutting it off. Then, pretending that his phone had run out of battery, he frantically pressed the home button and said, I'm sorry, but I have some urgent matters to attend to at work, and my phone has run out of battery. Can I borrow your phone for a moment?" Without the slightest doubt, Shi Yao passed her phone over to Lin Jiej without any hesitation. Lin Jiej didn't take it. Instead, he glanced at the black phone screen. Shi Yao was stunned for a moment before understanding Lin Jiej's intentions. She quickly unlocked the screen. Only then did Lin Jiej thank her before taking the phone. After which, he dialed Xiaoshangzhou's number once more. "Mr. Xia, I'm sorry, but my phone ran out of battery earlier. Please continue what you were saying earlier, boss? Xia Shangzhou stuttered on the phone for a moment before he finally spoke up with a tearful voice. I've confessed everything. I've really confessed everything. Boss, I lied to you. I'm your son. Boss, I admit that I've made a mistake, but Liu Benlai, that grandson of mine, has done much worse than me. Boss, do you know? He didn't wash his feet for the past 2 days, so in order to get his hands on the Maidong, he stepped on your bed to get it. I saw him stepping on your pillow with my own eyes. Also, boss, you said that we have to drink at least 3 bottles of Maidong every day, and I followed your instructions. However, Liu Benlai didn't. He secretly flushed the Maidong down the toilet. Also, boss, in order to show off, Liu Benlai even took a selfie with your laptop, saying that it was his new laptop. While Xia Shangzhou was rambling on, Shi Yao's phone suddenly sounded with a low battery warning tone. Lin Jiej glanced at Shi Yao's screen and saw that the battery was already at less than 1%. He didn't immediately return the phone to Shi Yao. Instead, he placed it by his ear and said politely, Mr. Xia, I've taken down your words. I'll consider your opinion carefully and give you a reply when the time comes. Boss, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Please don't write it down and don't give me a reply. Amidst Xia Shangzhou's anguished wails, Lin Jiej unhesitatingly hung up the call and passed the phone back to Shi Yao. Chapter 247. While Lin Jiej was making the call, the waiter had already brought the dishes over. Shi Yao was just about to stuff a mouthful of food into her mouth when she heard Lin Jiej's words. It wasn't convenient for her to speak, so she could only shake her head. When she took the phone from Lin Jiej's hands, she saw that Lin Jiej was looking at her with a deeply remorseful gaze. She had initially thought that this was nothing much, but she hurriedly swallowed the food in her mouth and looked at Lin Jiej with widened eyes before replying earnestly, It's all right. Perhaps it was her sincerity that convinced Lin Jiej, but he finally retracted his gaze and picked up his chopsticks. After the meal, Shi Yao called the waiter over to settle the bill. Unlike before, Lin Jiej didn't rush to pay the bill. Instead, he calmly leaned back on his chair and watched as the waiter passed the bill to Shi Yao. Shi Yao took a look at the price and asked, Can I pay via WeChat? Waiter, sure. Shi Yao didn't say a word. She reached for her phone, but when she pressed on the unlock button and saw that the screen didn't light up, she suddenly remembered that Lin Jiej had used up her phone's battery earlier. So she hurriedly smiled apologetically at the waiter and said, I just remembered that my phone is out of battery. I'll pay with my card instead. All right, miss. The waiter replied before entering the payment on the card machine. Shi Yao rummaged through her bag, but she couldn't find her wallet anywhere. So she hugged her bag tightly and began rummaging through her bag seriously. Time slowly ticked by, and when Shi Yao's fingertips came into contact with the colorful sanitary napkin for the second time, Lin Jiej suddenly recalled that he had touched the same sanitary napkin before, so he cleared his throat in embarrassment and asked, What's wrong? Shi Yao, who had already rummaged through her bag 3 times, replied in embarrassment, I don't think I brought my wallet with me. Ah? He thought that she would panic and say that she had lost her wallet, but she actually said that she didn't bring her wallet with her. This is, as long as you have food, you can be so careless? Lin Jiej was silent for a moment before he took out his wallet from his pocket and said, I'll do it. After swiping his card and signing his name, the two of them waited for the waiter to leave before Lin Jiej and Shi Yao walked out of the restaurant one after another. A second after getting into the car, Shi Yao spoke up with a reddened face. I really didn't mean to refuse to treat you to a meal. I really didn't bring my wallet with me. As if afraid that Lin Jiej wouldn't believe her words, she intentionally opened her bag and showed it to him. As she had messed up her bag earlier, the sanitary napkin happened to be at the very top of the pile. Lin Jiej glanced over, and the first thing he saw was the brightly colored cube. His face burned a little, but he quickly replied with a muffled before swiftly averting his gaze. Shi Yao was a little perplexed by his reaction. He had clearly called her to ask her to pay him back for the meal, but in the end, he was still the one paying the bill. Could it be that he felt that she had done it on purpose? The more Shi Yao thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. Eventually, she spoke up softly, I really have no intention of not paying you back for that meal. How about this? I'll give you the money and treat it as a loan. If you really can't do it, I'll write you an IOU later. Staring straight ahead, Lin Jiej skillfully maneuvered the car and replied, there's no need for that. How can I do that? Why don't I treat you to 2 meals, no 3? Before Shi Yao could finish her words, she suddenly fell silent as she looked at the scene outside the car window. Chapter 248. Noticing that Shi Yao had paused halfway through her words, Lin Jiej turned to look at her in bewilderment. Seeing that she was looking out the window, he followed her gaze. There were 2 girls in her line of sight. One of them was holding a box of fried chicken, and the other was holding a box of ice cream. Is it because she saw someone holding food in their hands that she chose to stare at them without saying a word? Do you have to be so greedy? How embarrassing! Lin Jiej rubbed his forehead helplessly in his heart as he thought about buying her some fried chicken and ice cream later on so that she wouldn't be envious of others around her. A second after this thought formed in Lin Jiej's mind, he saw the girl holding the fried chicken stuffing a piece of fried chicken into the mouth of the girl holding the ice cream. Following which, the girl holding the ice cream scooped up a spoonful of ice cream and fed it into the mouth of the girl holding the fried chicken. As the 2 girls ate their food, they looked at one another with satisfied smiles on their faces. In that instant, Lin Jiej seemed to have understood something, and he turned to look at Shi Yao, who was sitting in the front passenger seat. Looking at the 2 girls who were smiling at one another, the girl seemed to have recalled something from the past, and her eyes began to drift away. Even though she didn't reveal too much emotion on her face, her slightly pursed lips still betrayed her disappointment and sadness. So, he had misunderstood her earlier? It wasn't because of the food in the 2 girls' hands. Rather, it was because their actions reminded her of Liang Mumu? So, even though she looks fine on the surface, she's still unhappy in her heart? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej slowed down the car and stopped by the roadside. Shi Yao, who was staring at the 2 girls outside the window motionlessly, noticed that the car had stopped, and she turned to look at Lin Jiej with a doubtful look. Meeting her gaze, Lin Jiej pointed to KFC not too far away and said, I'm going to the washroom. Shi Yao nodded slightly. After Lin Jiej got out of the car, she turned to look at the 2 girls once more. They had already walked far away, such that she could only see their backs. However, from their actions, she could still tell that they were very happy and intimate. It was just like how she and Liang Mumu used to be, just like how they used to be. After taking a few steps into KFC, Lin Jiej suddenly turned around to look at Shi Yao in the car. He saw that the girl was looking at the other 2 girls again. Perhaps because he was not in the car, the sadness and regret on her face became much more obvious. He couldn't help but feel a slight twinge of pain in his heart. In the next second, he turned around and hurriedly walked into the KFC. At the same time, he whipped out his phone, switched it on and logged into the game. Seeing that Lu Binlai and Xia Shangzhou were both online, he searched for Lu Binlai's WeChat and typed, "Let's meet at the KTV near our school in half an hour." Lu Binlai immediately replied, "Boss, I'm having a mild fever. Can we do it another day?" Still playing games when you have a cold and a fever? Ignoring Lu Binlai's message, Lin Jiej replied in an irrelevant manner, 2 days ago you didn't wash your feet, so you stepped on my bed to get the maidong?" Without waiting for Lu Binlai's reply, Lin Jiej continued composing his next message. Halfway through typing, Lu Binlai replied with a pitiful emoticon before adding, "Boss." Chapter 249. Lu Binlai replied with a series of pitiful emojis. "Daddy." Lin Jiej continued to ignore Lu Binlai's message, and as if he was talking to himself, he typed, "In order to show off, you hugged my laptop and took a selfie, saying that it's your new laptop." Lu Binlai sent a kneeling emoji followed by the following, "The other party is currently on his way to the KTV, and he'll arrive in 10 minutes, so he won't be able to reply to your message for the time being. Please forgive him." Why didn't he just do as he said from the start? Why did he have to go through so much trouble to type so many words? There's only one request. Lin Jiej swiftly typed on the screen. "And that is to make Yao Yao happy." Lu Binlai. "Ha! Lu Binlai. Boss, you're messing things up. Little Junior belongs to you, so you should be the one to do it. How can I do that? Besides, if my future wife were to find out that I'm trying to coax Little Junior, wouldn't I be punished to kneel on durians? Is he trying to haggle with me? Lin Jiej couldn't be bothered to type any more words. He copied the message he had sent earlier and sent it. 2 days ago you didn't wash your feet, so in order to get the my dong, you stepped on my bed to get it. You must drink at least 3 bottles of my dong every day, but you fed them to the toilet bowl. Lu Benlai. I'll coax her, all right? Since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Ignoring Lu Benlai, Lin Jiej found Xia Shangzhou's WeChat and began sending a message. Thanks to Lu Benlai's experience, he was much more decisive this time around. Meet me at the KTV near the school in half an hour. I only have one request, and that is to make Yao Rao happy. I won't accept any rejection because I secretly took 20 bottles of my dong and sold them to the roommates next door at a low price, then used the money to buy duck necks. I didn't have any socks to wear this afternoon, so I took a pair of socks from my cabinet. When I was washing my hands, I accidentally used my towel. Before Lin Jiej could finish his string of messages, Xia Shangzhou had already replied, Daddy, don't worry. Coaxing mommy is something that I should do. As long as mommy is happy, I'll be happy too. I'll do everything in my power to make mommy happy. Lin Jiej stopped typing and exited the conversation with Xia Shangzhou. He tapped on Lin Jiai's name and shared an address with her. Meet me at this KTV in half an hour. In order to prevent Lin Jiai from demanding an appearance fee, he added, Yao Yao is here. It took quite a while before Lin Jiej received a message from Lin Jiai. I've already marked out the appearance fee 8,888 for 1 hour, 18,888 for 2 hours, and 28,888 for 3 hours. However, in view of Yao Yao's presence, I'll waive it. Without replying to Lin Jiai's message, Lin Jiej put away his phone, walked out of KFC, and returned to his car. After fastening his seatbelt and starting the car, Lin Jiej shot a glance at Shi Yao and asked, You don't have to worry about dinner tonight. If you really feel bad about it, why don't you come with me to a gathering? Shi Yao blinked her eyes in bewilderment as she looked at Lin Jiej and asked, A gathering? Lin Jiej didn't respond to Shi Yao's words. Instead, he asked a question that had little to do with the previous topic. Do you know how to drive? Shi Yao nodded. She had received her driving license the summer after her national college entrance examination. Chapter 250. Tonight's dinner cost 367 renminbi. Wasn't it a little too expensive for her to be the designated driver? Feeling a little guilty, Shi Yao pondered for a moment before saying, Let's forget about the designated driver fee. How about this? As a token of my apology and gratitude, I'll be your designated driver, and I'll repay you for the meal I owe you. At this point, Shi Yao suddenly felt that her idea was really too good, so she turned to Lin Jiej and asked, What do you think of this? In any case, my ultimate goal is to get you to attend the gathering. Since it's done, the process doesn't matter. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiej replied, As long as you're happy. By the time Lin Jiej and Shi Yao arrived at the KTV near the school, Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou had already booked a room and were waiting inside. A second after Lin Jiej pushed open the door and stepped in, Lu Benlai, who Lin Jiej had a handle on, immediately greeted enthusiastically, Boss. Xia Shangzhou's voice was even more enthusiastic than Lu Benlai's, Boss. Ignoring the two of them, Lin Jiej opened the door and allowed Shi Yao to enter. Upon seeing Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou, Shi Yao immediately greeted them politely, Seniors, nice to meet you. Seeing that the main character had arrived, Lu Benlai immediately flashed a bright smile and greeted warmly, Hello, little junior. Xia Shangzhou's tone was even more friendly and enthusiastic than Lu Benlai's, and he even moved a little more. He stood up and pointed to the sofa and the fruit juice on the table. Hello, little junior. Please take a seat and please have some fruit juice. Caught off guard by their overly enthusiastic actions, Shi Yao took half a step back and said, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I'm actually here to be your driver. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou were taken aback. Driver? Shi Yao's eyes curled into crescents as she smiled. Then, she turned to look at Lin Jiej and said, He'll be drinking later, so I'll be his driver. So, he enslaved them to coax Little Junior. And yet, he actually enslaved Little Junior to be his driver? Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou turned to look at Lin Jiej. Receiving the gazes of the duo, Lin Jiej remained completely unperturbed. He simply raised the phone in his hand slightly. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou immediately understood what he meant. He was warning them about the messages he had sent them in WeChat. Lu Benlai immediately understood what was going on. He turned to Shi Yao and said, "Little Junior sure is incredible. You can drive at such a young age." Understanding Lin Jiej's intentions, Xia Shangzhou picked up the bottle of fruit juice on the table and began twisting the cap off as he lied through his teeth. "Little Junior, do you know that the people I admire the most in my life are women who can drive?" But before Xia Shangzhou could finish his words, he sensed Lin Jiej's cold gaze directed at him, and he immediately stuttered in fright to female. He stuttered for a moment before realizing something. He hurriedly took back the open bottle of fruit juice from Shi Yao's hand, brought it to his mouth and gulped it down cleanly. It was only after he removed the bottle that he realized that Lin Jiej's complexion had improved significantly. Chapter 251. Shi Yao's gaze followed Xia Shangzhou's movements all the way to Lin Jiej's beautiful fingers. Wasn't Little Junior supposed to drink fruit juice? Why did he give it to Lin Jiej? Just as Shi Yao was about to turn her head to look at Xia Shangzhou in confusion, Lin Jiej gracefully opened the bottle cap and passed it over to her. Xia Shangzhou did pass the fruit juice to her, but he passed it to Lin Jiej so that he could open the bottle cap for him? But doesn't Xia Shangzhou know how to open a bottle cap? Even if he doesn't know how to open a bottle cap, I know how to do it. Besides, I'm especially good at opening bottle caps, so why did he go through so much trouble to pass it to Lin Jiej? Is there something wrong with Lin Jiej's roommate's head? Shi Yao thought as she took the fruit juice from Lin Jiej's hands and said, "Thank you, Lu Benlai. Little Junior, do you want to sing?" "Xia Shangzhou, what song do you want to sing?" "I'll pick a song for you." Shi Yao took a sip of the fruit juice before shaking her head at the duo. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou didn't force Shi Yao, nor did they dare to. "If you want to sing later, just let me know. I'll pick a song for you." After saying those words, Xia Shangzhou ran over to the song selection counter and fought with Lu Benlai to pick a song. Shi Yao swallowed the fruit juice in her mouth. Out of politeness, she was just about to reply to Xia Shangzhou with a sure when the door was pushed open. Dressed in a peacock blue dress and heels of the same color, Lin Jiej walked into the room with a Hermes bag in hand. She was the first to see Shi Yao, and a warm and gentle smile immediately appeared on her cold and exquisite face. "Oh." Upon seeing Lin Jiej, Shi Yao's eyes lit up. "Sis Jiej." Lin Jiej shot Shi Yao a coquettish glance before turning her gaze to Lin Jiej, who was seated beside Shi Yao. The smile on her face instantly turned cold. She responded with a light as a form of greeting before turning to look at Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou, who were busy picking songs. This time Lin Jiej didn't say a word at all. She simply nodded slightly toward Lu Benlai as a form of greeting, but when her gaze fell upon Xia Shangzhou's face, her eyebrows abruptly knitted together. A second later, with killing intent emanating from her, she spat, "Peeping Tom. Peep peep peep? Isn't this the navigator? How did he become a peeping Tom?" Xia Shangzhou nearly fell to his knees. Similarly perplexed, Shi Yao tugged on Lin Jiej's sleeve and asked, "Sis Jiej, what do you mean by peeping Tom?" Hearing Shi Yao's voice, Lin Jiej immediately abandoned Xia Shangzhou and sat down beside Shi Yao. With a gentle voice she said, "Back then, he hid in my bathroom at my place. When I went in to shower he saw me." "No." Xia Shangzhou instinctively tried to defend himself, but before he could even utter a single word, Lin Jiej had already shot daggers at him. Frightened out of his wits, he immediately shut his mouth and fell silent. Oblivious to this sight, Shi Yao's eyebrows shot up. So not only is there a hole in Lin Jiej's brain, he's also a huge pervert. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao muttered indignantly, "That person is really too much." Lin Jiej, "That's right, he's really too much." Lu Benlai, "That's right, he's really too much." Lin Jiej, Xia Shangzhou was filled with indignation, but he had no one to vent it on. Chapter 252. However, it didn't take long for Lu Benlai to step forward to save the day. The coolness that he had chosen suddenly reminded him of the background music. The night grows cold, the flowers fall to the ground and turn into frost. Lu Benlai was a man, so Shi Yao thought that it would be a man's voice. Contrary to her expectations, it was a female voice. Astonished, Shi Yao raised her head to look at the singing Lu Benlai. Gazing from afar, depleting the twilight, it's hard to forget. It was only after Lu Benlai opened his mouth that Shi Yao was certain that it was indeed a female voice. Yao Yao's peach blossom is cool. How could you give up in your previous life? Lu Benlai continued singing, and just like in the duet, he had switched to a male voice this time around. This boundless sea of heart. Yet you pretend to be nothing but a facade. Wasn't Lin Jiej's roommate a little too incredible? To be able to switch between male and female voices so perfectly. Shi Yao's attention was immediately drawn to Lu Benlai. The coolness of the night, my longing for you flows into a river, turning into spring mud to protect me. The light years brush the sleeves of my lover. The fragrant flowers flow into the water. Lu Benlai's male voice and female voice finally reached the halfway point of coolness. However, when he reached the latter half of the song, Lu Benlai's voice was still that of a female voice, and the melody was identical to the original music. However, the lyrics were a little different. They say that I'm too fat, that my body is covered in fat. Shi Yao, who had lowered her head to sip on her fruit juice after finishing the first half of the song, abruptly froze upon hearing those words. She was stunned for 3 seconds before she slowly raised her head to look at Lu Benlai once more. Lu Benlai's mouth was still opening and closing. Your back is like a wall, no matter what you wear. It's hard for a young lady to find a partner. Shi Yao blinked her eyes several times before realizing that Lu Benlai had changed the lyrics. Following which, Lu Benlai's voice changed to that of a male voice, but the lyrics were still different from the one displayed on the screen. They're not lying. I'm most afraid of having you by my side. Even though you're so beautiful, I beg of you to forgive me and block my sunlight. Hearing those words, Shi Yao couldn't hold herself back anymore, and a pft escaped her mouth. She nearly spat out her drink. It was fortunate that she reacted quickly and covered her mouth. Do you have to be so funny? To sing like that and even change the lyrics so shamelessly. Seeing Shi Yao's smile, Lu Benlai didn't stop singing, but he discreetly shot a glance toward Lin Jiej. The man sitting next to Shi Yao turned his head to look at her when he saw her smile. The boy's face was as cold and indifferent as ever. However, when his eyes came into contact with the girl's upturned lips, they softened a little. Knowing that he was finally safe, Lu Benlai sang even harder than before. Lu Benlai, female voice, Benlai, female, Benlai, Lu Benlai. Shi Yao had just removed her hand from her lips when she heard the lyrics, and she burst into laughter once more. Lu Lai Lu T, male Lu male voice. Shi Yao's smile revealed her teeth as she leaned over to Lin Jiej's ear and whispered. Looking at Shi Yao's reaction, Lin Jiej couldn't help but smile. It was hard to tell if he was infected by the young lady's laughter or Lu Benlai's lyrics. Chapter 253. Xia Shangzhou, who had also been assigned a mission by Lin Jiej, sat by the side, silently observing the expressions on Shi Yao and Lin Jiej's faces. Seeing that Lu Benlai had actually managed to amuse Shi Yao by changing the lyrics of his song, he immediately moved the song he had chosen to the very front, and waited for Lu Benlai to finish singing before taking the microphone from him. Shi Yao had heard the song that Xia Shangzhou had chosen before. It was a song that Lin Jiej had unintentionally hummed while she was on the phone with Han Jing. It was called Short Paper Long Feelings. I'll accompany you into the summer of cicadas, passing through the hustle and bustle of the city. My voice is still drifting, but I can't see the gentleness in your eyes. Compared to Lu Benlai, Xia Shangzhou's singing was slightly better, and he was able to bring out more emotions. This was especially so when he reached the climax of the song. Shi Yao couldn't help but hum along with the lyrics in her heart. I really miss you. In every rainy season, what you choose to forget is what I'm most reluctant to part with. Short paper, long feelings, endless ripples. My story is all about you, however. At the climax of the song, the lyrics that Shi Yao had picked up didn't match Xia Shangzhou's at all. How did I fall in love with him? Isn't it all because I'm blind? Shi Yao froze. Forsaking a forest, tripping over a broken blade of grass. Hearing those words, Shi Yao's lips crept up once more. So this pervert with a hole in his head also changed the lyrics. Short paper, long feelings, endless words. A bag of a 4 can't tell you how much of a scumbag you are. When he finished singing the last line, Xia Shangzhou even squeezed out an aggrieved expression, and Shi Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter once more. Seeing that Xia Shangzhou was done, Lu Benlai immediately picked up the microphone and roared, "Damn it, you shameless bastard! How dare you steal my idea?" Xia Shangzhou retorted without any hesitation, "You're the shameless bastard. I stole the idea of a netizen. Are you a netizen?" Lu Benlai spat through gritted teeth. "Do you know that you're a well?" Xia Shangzhou was perplexed. "What?" Lu Benlai. "It's still a 2 no matter what." Xia Shangzhou. "You're a 2 no matter what. Your entire family is a 2 no." Amused by the bickering between the two of them, Shi Yao pursed her lips and giggled for a moment before a thought suddenly struck her, and she subconsciously turned her head to look at Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai. Am I seeing things? Why did she feel that the bickering scene between the two of them was a little like expert in juice? Xia Shangzhou said, "I'm not going to argue with you today. Let's duel based on our skills. I'll skewer the lyrics." Lu Benlai, come. Who afraid? As he spoke, Lu Benlai tapped on the karaoke button and selected a random background song. Raising the microphone, he began singing, "Your tears gentle yet bright. I've been away from you for too long, mother." Facing Lu Benlai's skewering, Xia Shangzhou didn't back down at all. "We all have a family called China, and we have many brothers and sisters. The scenery isn't too bad either. Old people don't want their children to contribute much to their family." Lu picking a lulu 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 shangli lulu lulu. Chapter 254. Seated on the sofa, Shi Yao was completely dumbfounded as she listened to the duo's barrage of words. Songs can actually be sung like this? Lu Benlai. "I'm a tiny little bird, I want to fly higher. Fly higher." Xia Shangzhou. Night Shanghai, heya heya. Pulling radishes, poo." Hearing those words, Shi Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter. Even Lin Jiai, who was seated by the side, couldn't help but have her lips curl up uncontrollably, even though she seemed to be looking at the lively duo with a cold and aloof gaze. Instead, Lu Benlai called for a waiter to bring a few more microphones over. After placing them on the table, he beckoned for Lin Jiai, Shi Yao, and Lin Jiej to join him for a song skewer. Perhaps it was because the two of them had really stirred up the atmosphere, but Lin Jiai didn't turn them down. She picked up the microphone and pondered for a few seconds before saying, "For you, I'm willing to transfer the warmth of one person to another's chest." Lu Benlai shouted out a string of 666,666, before continuing singing, "I'll accompany you to watch the meteor shower fall on Earth, to watch the railway being built all the way to my hometown." Xia Shangzhou, men cry. It's not a sin to cry. Soar through this world of mortals and accompany me forever. Amidst the three of them, Shi Yao couldn't help but smile from ear to ear. In the end, she couldn't help but grab the microphone and join them as well. "Shi Yao, give me a cup of love for getting water. I'll live with it for the rest of my life." Lu Benlai. "Who's going to play East Wind Break on the pipa? Let the world know that we're all Chinese." Lin Jiai. "Where will you be 1,000 years later? Wipe away your tears and don't ask. At the very least, we still have our dreams." As time ticked by, the few of them became more and more excited. The entire room was filled with singing and laughter. When it was almost 12 o'clock, a line of red words flashed on the big KTV screen, reminding them that their private room time was about to end. It was Lu Benlai's turn to sing, but he didn't. Instead, he raised the microphone and said, "Before tonight ends, let's use a single sentence to express our wishes. I'll go first, okay?" As he spoke, Lu Benlai shouted, "Let us live a carefree life together in the world of mortals." Xia Shangzhou raised his microphone and shouted, "Let us be companions in the world of mortals, and live as long as Mount Nanshan." Lin Jiai fell silent for 2 seconds before shouting out the words in her heart, Let us be companions in the world of mortals, brave to love, brave to hate. Noticing that the three of them were looking at her, Shi Yao tilted her head to the side and pondered for a moment before placing the microphone to her lips and saying, "Let us accompany you in the world of mortals and eat till we're fat. All right." Amidst Lu Binlai, Xia Shangzhou, and Lin Jia's jeers, Xia Shangzhou turned to Lin Jie and asked, "Boss, do you want to make a wish too?" Lu Binlai, "That's right. Boss, say something." Lin Jie, "Hurry up. Tell me your wish." Shi Yao nodded vehemently as she looked at Lin Jie in agreement. Un. Seeing that Shi Yao had made a request, Lin Jie didn't turn her down. He stood up, walked over to the table and picked up the microphone. After 2 seconds of silence, he looked at Shi Yao and said calmly, "Let us accompany you in the world of mortals and eat buns every day." Lin Jie replied disdainfully, "Tsk. I hate eating buns the most." "I left the car with my mother," Lin Jie replied. "All right, you should drive my car home," Lin Jie said as he tossed the car keys over to Lin Jie. Chapter 256. Lin Jie nodded his head silently. Shi Yao waved at Lin Jie and said, "Sis Jie, goodbye." "Goodbye, my dear Yao." Lin Jie smiled brightly at Shi Yao before placing her hand on her lips and saying, Seeing her actions, Lin Jie knew that she was going to blow Shi Yao another kiss and say moi moi. Without waiting for her to finish her words, he reached out to grab Shi Yao's head and turned her face toward him. After saying "let's go," he slid his hand down to Shi Yao's neck and held it lightly before leading her back to the academy. After walking for a distance, Lin Jie turned around to take a look, but Lin Jie's car was already out of sight. Only then did he remove his hand from Shi Yao's neck. The two of them didn't talk much as they walked along the street, passing by streetlight after streetlight. At a corner, Lin Jie turned around to look at Shi Yao. Perhaps it was because she had a good time at the karaoke. Her eyes were still glowing with excitement. There was no trace of the dejection and depression she had when she saw two passers-by getting intimate with each other in the car after dinner. His tense mood from before had also been swept away by the change in her mood. Still a little worried, Lin Jie suddenly halted his footsteps when he passed by a 24-hour supermarket. "What's wrong?" Seeing that Lin Jie had stopped, Shi Yao stopped as well. Lin Jie stared at the supermarket for a moment before tossing, "Give me a moment," at her before walking into the supermarket. Soon he walked out of the supermarket with a plastic bag in his hand. It was already late at night, so even with the streetlights in the area, Shi Yao was still unable to see what was inside the plastic bag. She didn't ask. Instead, she watched as he walked out of the supermarket and continued walking toward the school. After entering the school, just as they were about to reach the female dormitory, Lin Jie stopped by a streetlight once more. Shi Yao shot a perplexed glance at Lin Jie, thinking that this was where he planned to send her off. She was just about to say goodbye when she saw him taking out a glass bottle of water from the plastic bag and smashing it on the ground. His actions were so abrupt that Shi Yao staggered 2 steps back in fright. She looked at the shattered glass bottle and the water that had spilled all over the floor before turning to Lin Jie with a perplexed look. Lin Jie still didn't say a word. Instead, he took off the thin jacket he was wearing and searched around his armpit area. Then, he took out a thin blade from a plastic bag and slashed it viciously at the jacket. In the blink of an eye, a small hole was left in the expensive jacket. What's wrong with him? Why did he do so many strange things? Shi Yao frowned as she looked at Lin Jie. Just as she was about to speak up, the latter spoke up first. "Shi Yao, there are some things that are like this bottle of mineral water on the ground. Once it shatters and the water spills, it's impossible for it to return to its original state. There are also some things that are like this jacket in my hand. Even if it's torn, it won't be noticeable at all. It can still be worn with some mending." After saying those words, Lin Jie gestured toward the female dormitory and said, "Let's go." Shi Yao didn't say a word. Her mind was completely immersed in Lin Jiej's earlier actions and words. It wasn't until she returned to her dormitory room, took a bath, and lay on her bed that she vaguely seemed to understand something. Then, just as she was about to close her eyes to sleep, she reached for her phone, tapped into her messages, and searched for Lin Jiej's name. Chapter 257. Yao stared at the phone screen for a moment, and the more she thought about it, the more convinced she was that her instincts were right. So she raised her finger and tapped on the screen. Sis Jai, did you put me in? Out of habit for many years, Yao instinctively wanted to type the word Mumu. But it was only after she typed in the letters MU that she realized that she was no longer Mumu but Liang Mumu. Did I tell you about Liang Mumu? After watching Yao enter the female dormitory, Lin Jiej returned to the street lamp where they had been standing earlier. He picked up the shattered glass bottles one by one with a napkin and tossed them into the trash can before straightening his back. It was already late at night, and the entire school was eerily quiet. There wasn't a single person in sight. However, Lin Jiej wasn't in a hurry to return to his dormitory. Instead, he took out his phone, searched for Liang Juxi's number and made a call. The phone rang for quite a while before it was finally picked up. Liang Juxi seemed to have been woken up from his sleep by Lin Jiej. When he spoke, there was a heavy drowsiness in his voice. Bro, do you know that it's immoral to disturb someone's sleep in the middle of the night? Through Liang Juxi's voice, Lin Jiej could hear him getting down from his bed to pour a cup of water. While he was doing that, his mouth didn't stop moving at all. Also, do you know that I wasn't having a dream earlier? It was a sweet dream. My little sister Miaoshua is wearing a very cute, pink and kawaii underwear. And it's a thin one. Oh right. You might not know who my little sister Miaoshua is, but she's the female lead of a manga that I bought recently. It's a really good manga. Do you want to read it? I'd be reluctant to share my little sister Miaoshua with anyone else, but if it's you, I'm willing to share my little sister Miaoshua with you. Liang Juxi. Lin Jiej, who was used to Liang Juxi recommending all kinds of erotic manga to him whenever he picked up the call, suddenly called out his name. Lin Jiej's tone was very serious, completely different from the casual and carefree attitude he usually had with Liang Juxi. Liang Juxi's incessant chatter suddenly came to a halt. Lin Jiej continued, the reason why I called you is to tell you to keep that cousin of yours in check when you're free. Liang Juxi was silent on the other end of the phone for 2 seconds before he said in puzzlement, little cousin? Mumu? What happened to her? Before Lin Jiej could say anything, Liang Juxi had already asked, did something happen? But Mumu only has the temper of a spoiled brat. She doesn't have any bad intentions. She might have liked you since young, so if she offended you in any way, I'll apologize to you. Please don't take it to heart. Before Liang Juxi could finish his, Lin Jiej had already interjected coldly, I mind and I mind it very much. I mind it very much. Liang Juxi, seriously? It couldn't be that serious, right? What on earth did she do? You can ask her directly what she did. In any case, I'll leave it at that. I hope that what she did this time will be the first and last time. As the words left Lin Jiej's lips, his tone grew colder and colder, and even his expression turned a little icy. If there's a next time, I can guarantee that it won't be as simple as calling you. Chapter 258. Did that lass really go overboard? There was a hint of incredulity in Liang Juxi's voice. I've always thought that she's a little too willful, but speaking of which, you should know very well what kind of person I am. Since you've already said that, I'll definitely take care of her. Why don't we find some time to invite her over to treat you to a meal as an apology? Without even thinking about it, Lin Jiej rejected the offer resolutely. There's no need for that. Ah, you're so ruthless? You won't even give me face? Liang Juxi's tone grew even more surprised. Just how did she offend you? The person she offended isn't me. Lin Jiej paused for a moment before continuing. The person she offended is Yao Yao. Ah, Yao Yao? Which Yao Yao? Why don't I know anyone named Yao Yao among the people you know? He muttered to himself for a moment before he finally came to a realization. Oh, I get it now. The Yao Yao you're talking about can't be the fiancé your grandfather arranged for you, right? That can't be, right? You're going to turn me down just because of someone you don't want to marry? No matter what, Mumu grew up with us. Surely you don't have to go that far? Someone you don't want to marry. As Liang Juxi's words drifted into Lin Jie's ears, a deep frown appeared on his forehead. Even his words became much sharper and slower. Liang Juxi, I'm warning you. In the future, you'd better be more polite when you mention her. The other end of the phone fell silent. After a long time, Liang Juxi's voice finally sounded. Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Without any hesitation, Lin Jie replied to Liang Juxi's question. The reason why I called you today is to give you some face by telling you to keep your little cousin in check. If I had done so, things wouldn't have turned out this way. She's my bottom line, and your little cousin has crossed it. Do you understand what it means to be a bottom line? After saying those words without any hesitation, Lin Jie removed the phone from his ear and tapped on the button to end the call. Perhaps due to Liang Juxi's words, Lin Jie took a few deep breaths, and he still felt a little irritated. Someone you don't want to marry? What does he know? Is he him? What right did he have to say these words? Wasn't this clearly slandering him? The next time he saw him, he would burn that little sister Miaoshu of his with a fire. With this thought in mind, Lin Jie walked toward the dormitory with a hint of resentment in his heart. At the same time, he lowered his head to look at the time on his phone. But before he could get a good look at the time, he saw a message from Shi Yao. Sis Jai, did she tell you about me and Liang Mumu? So she understood what he was hinting at under the streetlight before he sent her back to the dormitory building? Unlike before, Lin Jie didn't try to find an excuse to cover up certain matters. Instead, he replied with a natural After sending the message, Shi Yao waited for a long while, but there was still no reply from Lin Jie. It was only then that she remembered that his phone had run out of battery during dinner, so it was likely that he hadn't switched it back on yet. Perhaps, he might have returned to his dormitory room to charge it up before going to sleep. Thus, she placed her phone down and closed her eyes, preparing to go back to sleep. Chapter 259. Lin Jie had replied to her message. The content was very much in line with his style. It couldn't get any simpler than a simple But it was precisely this single word that made Shi Yao's drowsiness disappear in an instant. So I wasn't wrong. The things he did and the words he said were really a hint to Liang Mumu. Before Shi Yao could recover from her shock, Lin Jie had already sent another message. Are you feeling better now? Shi Yao didn't think too much about it. She raised her finger to tap on the screen, but before she could type out her reply, Lin Jie's message appeared on the screen once more. Are you feeling better now? Shi Yao was stunned. He was asking if she was feeling better now? She could understand his reaction. After all, no matter who it was, they would be sad to see someone whom they had once treated as a friend betraying them. But was she feeling better now? That question surprised her a little. Her mood was indeed much better now, but how did he know? Could it be? Yet another thought surfaced in Shi Yao's mind. She felt that her conjecture was simply too bold. Had it been in the past, she would have rejected it without any hesitation. But this time she felt strangely confident, even though she had no idea where this confidence came from. After a long moment of contemplation, Shi Yao decided to voice her conjecture openly. After all, she wouldn't know the truth even if she kept it to herself. With this thought in mind, Shi Yao quickly typed on her phone and replied to Lin Jie. You called me so many times in the afternoon because you found out about this matter? While Shi Yao was confident in herself, she still couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. It was only after she sent this message that she began to feel a little uneasy. If Lin Jie were to reply that it wasn't, how could she resolve the awkwardness? Just as Shi Yao was racking her brains for an excuse, her phone suddenly lit up. Lin Jie. It's actually, Does this mean that my confidence is correct? As expected, a woman's sixth sense is exceptionally accurate. Is this a lie? So, with this thought in mind, Shi Yao continued typing. Was the KTV that night arranged at the last minute? This time Lin Jiej replied instantly. It really was an impromptu arrangement. After confirming that she was right twice in a row, Shi Yao grew even more confident. Then, is the karaoke because of me? After the message was successfully sent, Shi Yao held her breath. From that moment on, she felt that time was passing very slowly. Just as she was about to suffocate to death, Lin Jiej's message suddenly popped up on her phone screen. It was still a single word, but this time it wasn't an but a yes. So it was really like this. She had guessed it right. She had guessed everything right. As soon as Lin Jiej found out about her relationship with Liang Mumu from Lin Jai, he gave her a call. He could tell that she was in a bad mood, so he specially arranged for a karaoke session and called his roommates and Sis Jai over to cheer her up. In truth, after the karaoke session, she was truly overjoyed. Her gloomy mood for the entire day had been swept clean. An indescribable feeling suddenly engulfed Shi Yao's heart. Was he moved? He was touched, right? When you are sad, if someone tries to make you happy, you will definitely be very touched. Chapter 260. She wanted to thank Lin Jiej, but her fingers were trembling uncontrollably. She took several deep breaths, and it took a lot of effort before she managed to calm herself down. With trembling fingers she typed, "Thank you, Lin Jiej." This time Lin Jiej's reply was longer. "It's what I should have done. What I should have done. I'm unhappy and he's coaxing me. How is that what I should have done?" Shi Yao frowned. She was just about to ask Lin Jiej when another message popped up on the screen. "We're friends. Does this mean that Lin Jiej is treating me as a friend?" She didn't have a good impression of him in the past, thinking that he was a lofty person who looked down on her. But now that they were interacting more, she realized that he wasn't such a bad person. For example, he had treated her to a meal, and he treated all the delicious food that girls had given him when they confessed to each other as trash. So even if they were to cancel their engagement in the future and they couldn't be a family anymore, it wasn't impossible for them to remain friends. Besides, making a new friend was something to be happy about. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao's eyebrows curled up as she replied, "It was quite sad to lose a friend, but now that I've made a new one, it doesn't seem too bad." Without waiting for Lin Jiej's reply, Shi Yao continued, "But speaking of which, the way you coax me is really a little coquettish. Especially those words you said after you smashed the glass bottle. You said that once it breaks and the water spills, it'll be impossible for you to return to how you were before. Let me tell you, it's a good thing that I'm smart. Anyone else would have no idea what you're doing." After receiving the two long messages from Shi Yao, Lin Jiej carefully read through them word by word before commenting in his mind. Who in the world would praise themselves for being smart? But Softbun was indeed smart. She understood his hint and guessed his intentions. But why did she only mention the hint about the broken glass bottle and not the torn jacket? Did she not understand that the ripping of the coat was also a hint? He was hinting that when he was young, his grandfather had forced a fiancé on him, and he had implicated her in his rage, saying many hurtful words to her. The meaning behind his words was that Liang Mumu couldn't be forgiven, but unlike Liang Mumu, he could still be forgiven for sewing and mending. Lin Jiej pondered for a moment before asking tactfully, "Other than that, do you have anything else to say?" Shi Yao was probably chatting with him on her phone, so she replied swiftly, "I'm glad to be friends with you." Who wanted to hear that? Besides, he didn't really want to be friends with her. He just accidentally said it's what I should do and was too embarrassed to find an excuse to save the situation. Lin Jiej patiently asked, "Other than that?" "Shi Yao, your two roommates are really fun to play with, and they sing really well too." Lin Jiej raised his head to look at the sleeping Xia Shangzhou and Lu Ben Lai, and he suddenly felt an urge to suffocate them with a blanket. He took a deep breath and continued to ask, "Anything else?" "Shi Yao, actually it's all gone." She really didn't understand the latter half of my hint. Just as this thought flashed across Lin Jiej's mind, Shi Yao sent another message. However, Lin Jiej's heart was filled with anticipation. Chapter 261. So, after spending so much effort to lure her out, all she got was that bottle of mineral water? So, in the end, it turned out that his efforts couldn't even compare to a bottle of mineral water that cost 24 renminbi? Shi Yao was still sending him a message. And that bottle of mineral water is a glass bottle. It costs 24 renminbi a bottle. $24, $24. You actually wasted 24 renminbi just to coax someone. Even if that person was me, I still find it a waste. Do you know that I'll be overjoyed if you give me 24 renminbi? 24 renminbi is enough to buy 3 strawberry cakes, 2 cups of milk tea, 5 bottles of soft drinks, and a huge portion of fried paste noodles. He really couldn't continue chatting with her anymore. Lin Jiej clutched his slightly injured chest and replied, "It's getting late. Let's go to sleep." Putting down his phone, Lin Jiej thought to himself, I better not chat with Soft Bun for the time being. A second later, the screen of his phone lit up. Lin Jiej swiftly picked up his phone. And as soon as he saw Shi Yao's alright goodnight message, he had already typed out a goodnight message and sent it. Shi Yao didn't respond to his message. Before Lin Jiej put down his phone, he took a look at the time and saw that it was already 2 in the morning. He pulled over his blanket and prepared to sleep, but as soon as he closed his eyes, he suddenly thought of the hint in his words that she didn't manage to decipher. Why did she only understand the part about Liang Mumu but not him? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej flipped over in his bed. She still had the cheek to say that she was smart? How was she smart? She was clearly stupid. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej flipped over once more. And there must be something wrong with his head as well. How dare he praise her for being smart? Lin Jiej had no idea how long he flipped around like that, but all the way until he fell asleep he was still feeling restless. There were several times when he wanted to pick up his phone and call Shi Yao to scold her for being stupid. It was hard to tell whether it was because her sleepiness had passed or because she was chatting with Lin Jiej, but after Shi Yao put down her phone, she closed her eyes, unable to fall asleep. Her vision was in a mess, and the contents of her conversation with Lin Jiej kept appearing in her mind. As she thought about it, her heartbeat began to accelerate, just like when she received Lin Jiej's message. Everyone in the dormitory room had fallen asleep, and it was extremely quiet. It was so quiet that Shi Yao could even hear her own thumping heart. She placed her hand on her chest before going through the contents of the message between her and Lin Jiej in her mind once more. Eventually, she couldn't help but bury her head back into her blanket as her lips curled up into a smile. Shi Yao had no idea how many times she had gone over the contents of their messages that night, but before she fell asleep, her mind was still filled with Lin Jiej's message. Her heart was still racing, and the corners of her lips were still curled up. After the middle of May, the weather quickly heated up. At noon, the bright sunlight shone on the campus. At a glance, the entire school was empty. There was almost no one walking around. After finishing yet another new project, Lin Jiej switched off his laptop and stretched his back lazily. He casually grabbed a bottle of Maidong, twisted open the cap, and drank 2 mouthfuls before picking up his phone. After replying to a few unread messages, Lin Jiej noticed that there was a red notification on his Moments page, so he tapped into it. After waiting for the page to refresh, the first thing he saw was a post that had been updated 3 minutes ago. Chapter 262. After replying to a few unread messages, Lin Jiej noticed that there was a red on his Moments page, so he tapped into it. The first thing he saw was Xia Shangzhou's Moments page from 3 minutes ago. Expert of the monkeys. I want to bring you to the romantic desert, so that we can chase after the airdrops and escape from the blue circle together. Actually, I really like motorcycles in Milta, which has an 8x scope. Below this sentence was a picture from the game PlayerUnknown's Battleground. A man was riding a motorcycle with a woman on it, speeding through the desert. Above the man's head was the number 1 symbol, and above the woman's head was the number 2 symbol. On the upper left corner, number 1 was Expert of the Monkeys, and number 2 was Yao loves ice cream. Beneath the picture was a small line of text, mentioned, Yao loves ice cream. Lin Jiej didn't use his Moments page often, but he knew that it had this function. This meant that Xia Shangzhou had intentionally reminded Big White Chubby to look at his Moments page. While Lin Jiej was reading through the post, a like appeared on Xia Shangzhou's Moments page. It was Yao loves ice cream. Following that, there was another reply from Yao loves ice cream. The lyrics aren't bad. Did you write it? Xia Shangzhou sure is thick-skinned. To think that he would use Big White Chubby just to get replies and likes. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej swiped down the screen. Roughly 16 hours ago, Xia Shangzhou had posted on his Moments page. I really want to eat duck blood vermicelli soup. There were 2 rows of likes and around a dozen replies. Among them, Yao loves ice cream had liked the post and replied, I want to eat it too. Xia Shangzhou replied to her reply, and just like that, the two of them exchanged around 7 to 8 sentences on the topic of duck blood vermicelli soup, which took up 2/3 of Xia Shangzhou's replies. But Xia Shangzhou's Moments page didn't include Big White Chubby. So, even if he didn't like Big White Chubby would still like and reply to his Moments page? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej tapped on Xia Shangzhou's name and entered his Moments page. While Xia Shangzhou didn't update his WeChat Moments every day, he could be considered as one of the more frequent men. Lin Jiej browsed through all of his WeChat Moments and realized that ever since he added Big White Chubby as his WeChat friend, Big White Chubby had liked most of his posts, and more than half of them had received a reply from Big White Chubby. A frown appeared on Lin Jiej's forehead as he tapped into his Moments page. He only sent one message, 333333. 78 people liked the post and 45 people replied. Lin Jiej, who never paid much attention to such things, first browsed through the replies, and after confirming that Yao loves ice cream wasn't there, he moved on to the profile pictures of the people who had liked his post. However, he wasn't able to find Big White Chubby's profile picture, so he went through it once more, but it still wasn't there. So he continued searching. After repeating this process several times, Lin Jiej finally gave up. He had to face the fact that Yao loves ice cream hadn't liked his post at all. He had posted this on his WeChat Moments a long time ago. At that time, he and Big White Chubby were not friends yet. Therefore, when he compared his WeChat Moments with Xia Shangzhou, there was no basis for him to use as a reference. Chapter 263. After successfully uploading the post, Lin Jiej immediately received a like from Linimu from the neighboring dormitory room. Lin Jiej didn't pay much attention to it, so he put down his phone and headed to the bathroom. By the time he came out, he had already received more than 20 notifications. Most of them were from people who had worked with him on projects before. Perhaps it was because his post was too boring. There were only 3 replies. The first one was from a senior whom he had unknowingly added. The reason why he knew it was a senior was because he had given her a note, but he wasn't too sure who it was either. Good afternoon, Junior Lin. And there was a little red heart at the end. Good afternoon is fine, but what's with this little red heart? Lin Jiej ignored it and looked at the second reply. It was from Lin Jai. 444,444 renminbi. The third reply was from Lin Jai. You're ignoring me? Could it be that it's 444,444 US dollars? To think that a random number would turn into money. You must be a lunatic, seeing that Yao loves ice cream. Wasn't responding. Lin Jiej ignored Lin Jai and exited WeChat. He browsed through his books for a while, and roughly half an hour later, Lin Jiej entered his Moments page once more. Yao loves ice cream posted on her Moments. Girls should treat themselves better. Eating 3 meals a day is torturing yourself. Eating 4 meals a day is treating yourself normally. Eating 5 meals a day is barely satisfying yourself. And eating 6 meals a day and above is truly loving yourself. The accompanying picture was of a table filled with crayfish. However, what caught Lin Jiej's attention was the name on the crayfish plate. Taste of Home. He had been to this restaurant before. On Soft Bun's birthday, she had brought him there. He didn't think that Big White Chubby would share the same taste as Soft Bun, liking their crayfish. After browsing through Yao loves ice cream post, Lin Jiej tapped into his own Moments page. There were many more likes, but there was still no Big White Chubby. There were also a few more replies. Other than Lin Jai muttering to herself and adding euro and HKD behind, 444,444, there was also Xia Shangzhou's reply. Boss, it's rare to see you posting on your Moments page. Ignoring all of their replies, Lin Jiej returned to the main page of his Moments page and scrolled down. There were a few more replies under Xia Shangzhou's post. Expert of the monkeys. Yeah, I modified it myself. Yao loves ice cream. Impressive. I'm impressed. Expert of the monkeys. You're too kind. Thank you for your praise. So, Big White Chubby didn't like or reply to Xia Shangzhou's post, even though she interacted with him. Lowering his eyelids, Lin Jiej returned to the top of his Moments page and saw that there was a new reply under Yao loves ice cream. It was from Expert of the monkeys. Sis Yao, I'll give you 88 points for your script. As for the remaining 12 points, I'll give them to you in the form of 666. Following which, Yao loves ice cream replied to Xia Shangzhou with his own eyes. The other party unhesitatingly accepted your compliment and replied with an O __. Oh, could it be that she didn't notice that he had just posted it on his Moments, and she had been interacting with Xia Shangzhou the whole time, so she replied to him? The more Lin Jiej thought about it, the more convinced he was that his conjecture was correct. Thus he gave a like to Yao loves ice cream's post. To return the favor, she should also give him a like on her Moments, right? A was supposed to be able to see B's Moments, but after A replied to a few posts, he couldn't see B's Moments anymore. After explaining the situation to Lu Benlai, Lin Jiej added, "What's going on here?" Roughly 3 minutes later, he received Lu Benlai's reply. Is there even a need to ask? It must be that A has been blocked by B. Lin Jiej. Block? Lu Benlai, that's right. Boss, don't tell me that you don't know about the Moments screen function? He never used his WeChat Moments, and his WeChat Moments didn't specifically call him to tell him, so how would he know? You're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.